betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source for every three-pointer to hat trick. BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, brother like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the fam. Man, big ups to the fam, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the live Monday. Hope you guys are starting off your week on a positive note. As the NBA world turns, the New Orleans Saints are heavily involved. There is a trade that the Saints pulled off today in the attempt to improve the defensive line. So I like to give a clap for the Saints on that. Told you, baby. We got to get it, man. If you want to change all of this stuff, you have to look at the team. You have to start at the lines. You have to improve the lines. Giving up, what was it, a 7th round selection to get Godchaux, this guy was a absolute force at LSU down here. We know all about the brother. He went up there and he developed into a nasty interior defensive lineman. Coach Staley says, hey, man, we're going to need some guys there to kind of, to hold their own in this new alignment that they're attempting to try to make. So we're going to cover that in this episode of the show. We're going to go over all the news, notes, and items first, and then we'll kind of dump off into the commentary aspect toward the back end of the show. We'll also listen and react to some of the latest from the Saints, three pressers from the head coach. They're very short. They're not long pressers, about 5 or 6 minutes apiece, from new head coach Kellen Moore, his offensive coordinator, and his defensive coordinator, on some interesting thoughts on the offense and the defense going into the team. Because, of course, we know the last time we heard from Kellen Moore and respecting him talking about the Saints, you could tell that he hadn't did any evaluation of the team. He was just having this broad political speak about liking everybody. I like everybody. That guy's good. That guy's good. That's guy. He hadn't done any evaluations yet. So, but yeah, as the world turns and as things get a little, the Saints have to progress as fast as they possibly can. moving forward to try to compete. And of course, we have already established that the Saints will ultimately kick the can. We'll talk about the Derek Carr contract and all that. So big ups to all you guys. I appreciate you guys giving me your time tonight. Pelicans, Nola, OG, Jerry, Young City, Ninth Ward. Good to see you in the building as well. Trav 504. Big ups to you, fam. Appreciate you for stopping by. Country Rail, shout out to you, brother JT. Appreciate you, man, as well. The office in the high rise on Poitras. I don't know, brother. I might see Mickey walking out the dome and jump out one of them windows and kind of Spider-Man his ass. Oh my God, what's going on here? So, but big ups to you. Thank you, brother, for that good energy. Flat bronze power guy. Shout out to you, fam. Cartel boy. Shout out to you as well. Good to see you. Who that daddy? Big ups to you. L Dub, shout out to you, man. Good to see you, brother. Richard, shout out to you as well. What's up, brother Byron? Shout out to you. Indeed, LSU's guys in the building there. Shout out to you as well. Big ups to you, Be Great Josh. Riley, Mall. Did the Saints sign? No, they have not signed Mekhi Becton yet. Not yet, my friend. Not that I've heard anything about it. Michael says Carr wanted to test the market, but he did. He wanted to test the market, but he says he wouldn't let him. I saw the report today by Nick Underhill. Yeah, I've seen that as well, bro. I've seen a couple of the breakdowns about the Carr situation. It's obvious that the man doesn't want to be here. He feels the angst. And this is the thing about Derek Carr before we jump into some of this stuff. Just short commentary right quick. The Derek Carr thing, a lot of people, there's this thing about people not liking Derek Carr. And the reality is there are a lot of people that don't like Derek Carr. Me personally, I don't really too much, don't have that angst for him, because the thing is, when you take $150 million contract from the Saints, and from the black and gold coming down here, you're not going to moonwalk into a soft situation. When you sign on the dotted line, there is going to be a ton of pressure on you to perform. And we're not talking about barely over 500 as a starting quarterback and multiple injuries over the last couple of years that ended up to be culminating to be one of the worst signings the Saints have ever had. So let's not pretend. With the money comes a tremendous amount of, what's the term I'm searching for? Pressure. There you go. That is it. A tremendous amount of pressure. And Dennis Allen and all these clowns tried to prevent as much pressure as they could on Derek Carr. All it did was made him soft. But in the end, the pressure from the Who Dat Nation pushed Dennis Allen out of here. And the pressure from the Who Dat Nation is going to do a lot more. It really is. So, like I said, man, it's at that juncture. If you take $150 million from the Saints, you won't come in here and live well unless you win. That's the bottom line. We're not paying $150 million for some guy to give you a barely above 500 mark and a bunch of excuses, because that's what he does. I'm just keeping it real. Watching Derek Carr over the last couple of years and studying his film and breaking them down, because he's very elementary to break down. He really is very easy to break down on film. You watching Derek Carr play every Sunday, he is just, that's not a good spendage of money. And if you look at what Tampa Bay did with Baker Mayfield, they banked out big time with that. I mean, I've seen games with Baker Mayfield carry the team. It has not been the same energy, and not all of that is Derek Carr. But if you are a quarterback in today's or any part of the NFL, and you have $150 million contract, you're going to be the subject of all kind of things, especially if you're not winning. And the Saints are a fumbling, bumbling, excuse-making team. They thinking they can just keep telling you this, that, and the third. That is not working. You can't. I know how stupid these people are to keep using the same excuses year after year, like you don't have a memory. I just don't get the bull crap. You can't say that every year and you have tens of $1 million at your disposal to fix these injury situations. You can hire the best doctors in the world. You're sitting, your team is worth what, over what? What is the Saints worth? What do they worth? About 5 or 6 billion? The owner is the second richest person in the state. She have untold access to all kind of money. And you mean to tell me you can't hire the best doctors in the world to come and fix this team? All it is money, right? We're not going for any of that. The Saints aren't no poor team, or we're just a small market team. No, you're not a small market team. And how we dump money into you? How you got all these tax breaks and incentives? You don't pay no rent on them buildings. You don't pay, you get all the concession revenues. You get your taxes slashed if you're paying anything. Get out of here with that. We don't want to hear this bum ass story about you can't win. We don't want to hear that. And that's where we are with ours. And excuses is not going to cut it. You're going to have to perform. And that's the sticking point behind the Derek Carr situation. You can't come in here and make $150 and sit up here and make a bunch of excuses. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. The media ain't going to be able to protect you. Mickey Loomis is not going to be able to protect you. Gail and Toy Story looking ass Dennis Lawson, none of them guys are going to be able to stop you, man. Stop us, man. They ain't going to be able to protect you. Not from the criticism that is rightfully given. It won't happen, man. Anyway, let's jump right into it, man. Shout out to you guys. There's a poll question in the chat right now. Grade the trade. Grade the trade. Y'all answer that. Do y'all rate the trade and tell me what y'all think about the trade for tackle Davon Godchaux, who comes over. And this is, like I said, former LSU guy. He was a 4-year starter with the team. Very nasty guy, has a ton of experience playing the position. And it was I thought it was a good trade. And what I really liked about the trade was the fact that the Saints, what they did was they said the first major move that they made was to acquire a defensive tackle. A defensive tackle, because they're paying attention to those lines. And I am so happy about that. I really am. So anyway, fam, let's kind of get right into it. Let me see if I can pull my article right here up from them. And this is right there. I know I have the Paulson Adebo article up. Y'all work with me right here. We having some difficulties right now, computer wise, running a little slow for whatever reason. But anyway, well, let's get through it. Patriots trade star defensive tackle to the Saints. New England Patriots is sending away one of their biggest names. And this is from the Patriot Press. So, I brought this up because, I want to hear what they thought about Godchaux as opposed to what we get. They'll give more insight. Patriots are keeping their busy offseason rolling as they continue to move on from veterans and prepare to rebuild both sides of the football. According to NFL's Ian Rappaport, the Patriots have traded defensive tackle Davon Godchaux to the Saints in exchange for a 7th-round pick. He's 30 years old. He's been a 4-year starter for the Pats, taking the first defensive snap in 67 of 68 games for the Patriots. Joining the Pats, he spent the 4 years of his NFL career playing in a different AFC team with the Miami Dolphins. And this is one of the things here, as you can see, it's the original source tweet of the article. Patriots trading Davon Godchaux, started for 4 seasons to the Saints in exchange for a funky 7th-round draft pick. He's a Plaquemine, from Plaquemine, Louisiana. He's native, and LSU product goes home. Kellen Moore starts to build the way Philly did through the trenches. And this is something that I alluded to, didn't I? People saying, Q, what about this, that, and the third? I said, fam, listen, the Saints got beat up bad in the trenches last year. They had an attitude problem. And I'm not saying like an attitude that they didn't have the ferocious, mean, stanky, nasty attitude that you need to run the football. They were too melancholy and weak and pathetic there to consistently do anything. It takes attitude and upsetness to run the football. You have to be pissed off and mad at the guy in front of you. You can't sit up here and just be, act like you're drinking coffee and having a conversation with somebody next to the lake. It don't work like that. You have to be upset. You have to have linemen that have that type of mean, nasty disposition to be able to run the football and to stop the run. This man has that type of attitude. So anyway, Former 5th-round pick in 2017, he's tallied 429 tackles, 20 tackles for a loss, 5.5 sacks during his 8-year career. Now he heads to the 3rd NFL team as he enters year number 9. As for the Patriots, they're looking to continue to build with young pieces, blah, blah, blah. They'll be lining up for Mason Graham, perhaps. That's what they're saying as they trade him out. Mason Graham from Michigan might be a guy that they're looking at in the draft. That's interesting. But the Patriots, man, like I said, they'll start. They got a defensive-minded coach up there now, and they know defense might be on their periphery. But as far as the Saints are concerned, trenches, baby. First big move of the offseason in terms of the Saints is to get him. And I think it's a pretty decent move, to be honest with you, fam, because we definitely could use that help. We really could. So y'all read that trade. We're going to follow and come back to that poll question. We'll leave it up during the summation of the show, and then we'll bounce back to it. Right. So let's move on to this next thing right here. Saints cornerback Paulson Adebo agrees to a massive deal with the Giants. Hasta la vista to Paulson Adebo. We knew that the Saints probably wasn't going to sign Paulson Adebo back. We understood that. And the Giants cut him a nice little check. Shout out to the Saints wires. Saints have lost their first big free agent of the offseason as cornerback Paulson Adebo has agreed to terms on a massive or a big contract with the Giants, as first reported by the NFL's Ian Rappaport, and then confirmed by the Athletic's Deanna Rossini. He will be the face of the secondary that allowed the 3rd worst, which is 103.1 passer rating last season, the 2nd worst 5 interceptions. The Giants allowed 7.7 yards per passing play, which was the 4th worst in the league. Adebo has strong credentials with 10 interceptions and 43 pass defense in 52 games with the Saints. While the official contract numbers have yet to be released, one has to assume that this was about the money rather than joining a winning environment. Mike Garafolo had this to say about the deal. This is going to be one of the bigger cornerback deals you're going to see in free agency. He wanted the New York market. The Saints lose out on their top corner while the player gets his wish for a big money contract. So stay tuned on the details. And here's the update. The terms are in. Adebo agreed to a 3-year deal valued at $54 million and carrying $36 million in guarantees. That's a rate of $18 million per season. There's no way we're going to give him that. So congratulations to Paulson Adebo for securing a big contract, man. Shout out to him. A 2nd-round draft pick out of Stanford. Now he's the starting high-paid cornerback for the New York Giants. So shout out to Paulson Adebo as he moves on, man. And that's very interesting, right? Anyway, let's keep it going, fam, and kind of that's kind of tough, man, seeing Paulson to leave, man. But that's how it goes. But while Paulson was tipping on out the door with a big contract to the Giants, the Saints was trying to replace him. Did you know that? Well, let's cover it. Here it is here from the Shreveport Times. Colts outbid Saints in agreement with free agent cornerback Charvarius Ward. This was definitely Coach Staley at play. He just didn't get him. When they knew Paulson was out, they tried to get Charvarius Ward to replace him. Now, that's interesting. NFL's legal tampering period has been busy, and the New Orleans Saints have been active. They just haven't sealed the deal. The Athletic's Mike Silver reported that the Saints made a strong push to reach an agreement with San Francisco 49er cornerback Charvarius Ward, who instead cut a deal with the Indianapolis Colts valued at $60 million over 3 years. It includes $35 million in guarantees with $20 million signing bonus. Wow, that's a lot of money to pay a 28-year-old cornerback coming off a career-low snap count, having missed 5 games last season. He only got his hands on 7 passes after averaging 10.5 breakups the previous 6 years. It should be noted that Ward was coached by the Saints defensive coordinator Brandon Staley on the 49ers last year. But the connection and the money the Saints were willing to pay weren't enough to get him across the finish line. This comes after the news the Saints lost starting cornerback Paulson Adebo to the Giants. New Orleans is actively searching for Adebo's replacement by pursuing players like Ward in the early days of free agency. When will they find one? It is clear they have a firm budget in mind. If guarantees of $36 million for Adebo and $35 for Ward are too much for them, and the Saints are smart to stick with their guns here, You have two capable cornerbacks in Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alontae Taylor. They need a third, but not so badly as to overspend for the sake of doing it. We'll keep a close eye out for their moves in the days ahead, but this might be a situation where the Saints end up getting saved from themselves. So there you go. Still early on. So we know Adebo out. Charvarius Ward was the guy the Saints wanted to bring in. Deal's a little too rich for the Saints. Blood, baby. Yeah, I would have to say so, man. That's kind of a toughie right there, man. To quote Mickey Loomis, So I mean, you looking at trying to land him, and man, that's a lot of money to spend for him. So we'll just have to see how it goes moving forward. But it's still very young in the process. All right, let's talk some restructuring here. Mike Triplett posted today that he's hearing Demario Davis will be among the traditional restructures to help get the Saints under the cap. He's due $8.25 million in the final year of his contract, and the Saints can move it up to $5.6 million in cap charges into future years with his deal. Still waiting on actual pay cuts with other deals. This should come rolling in, because what I'm hearing is the Saints are working on multiple deals nearly around the same time. So you'll start hearing these deals pile up where they're going to everybody asking for restructures, which is not a surprise because this is what the Saints do with Mickey Loomis. A lot of this could have been kind of added on early on, but they slow to the party with a lot of stuff, but it is what it is. No need to get bunched up on how they operate and rule, because, I've been told that hold on now. I'm patient. What he said, I'm patiently, what he said, y'all phrase it for me. What did Loomis say? I'm cautiously, what he says, I'm patiently something or other. I forgot what he says. It was so stupid. I tend to forget what he says, but y'all put it as y'all remind me what he said there, man. I'm cautiously patient or some crap. I don't know. I forget. All right. So anyway, let's hit it again. Shout out to John Sigler, Saints Wire, said the Saints free agency tracker. It's a few things right here. The NFL's open on free agent negotiating window with the legal tampering period started on Monday, March the 10th, which is today at 11. Deals can be agreed upon, but nothing can be signed and made official until the new league year starts on Wednesday, March the 12th. Check this. And then, of course, this is the tracker where we kind of stop in and check on them. Now, of course, the free agent signings that the Saints have done thus far was the Nephi Sewell. They signed him to a 1-year deal as an exclusive rights free agent, which means his choice was to play for the Saints on a minimum salary or sit out of football. He emerged as the top backup for Demario Davis at the middle linebacker, and we'll see what the plan is for him with Brandon Staley's defense. But Sewell is a key player on special teams. It's cheap signing for Nephi. Remember, he had the leg injury. What was it? Year before last, we got carted off at the end of the season. Came back, kind of rehab, and when he's healthy, he's that little guy that could play, man. So he's definitely a key contributor on special teams. That'll help out with Phil Galliano. And of course, wide receiver Dante Pettis agreed to a 1-year deal to return to New Orleans, where he emerged as a solid depth piece and a receiving core and quality fill-in on special teams. Was initially brought in as the skills as a punt returner, and will get another shot to make the team in 2025. Now, the thing about Dante Pettis was he stole a lot of thunder from some of the Saints wide receivers, especially guys like Mason Tipton. The interesting part of Dante Pettis is he has a really good returnman background. He has really good speed, and he's a tall wide receiver. And he showed some, out of all the younger wide receivers that we've seen last year for the Saints, like you look at a few of the guys, I was really impressed with Dante Pettis. His size, his speed, he was catching the ball really good. And they just, when called upon, he made plays for them. So the Saints are rewarding him, bringing him back. And it's also a special team component to help out with Coach Phil Galliano. So that's also a positive. And of course, the departures, we covered it with Paulson Adebo signing that contract to go and play for the Giants. He took the money. And then, of course, we talk about the trade that the Saints made with New England to get nose tackle Davon Godchaux, swapping a seventh round pick in the 2026 draft, right? So not this year's draft. We got to remember that, because we talked about the trade, but it is a 2026 7th round pick, not a 25 pick. So that is actually that's not bad. You got a 9-year, I think he's 9 years in the league. Defensive tackle, nose tackle that you need in the middle, nasty, taking up room, pushing people around. You need that kind of temperament. So that's pretty good. And of course, let's talk about some of the restructures that happened. McCoy restructured, resulted in over $7 million in cap money. Young and productive starter, so recommitting him as smart. The only question is his health after he missed 7 games last season, but he isn't dealing with any chronic issues and should continue to play a key role offensively. Like I said, we talked about Eric McCoy. Like Eric McCoy, would like him to play a little bit more nastier, and then the injuries is my main concern in terms of that. The injuries is a concern. March 8th, as expected, Saints restructured their contract with Derek Carr, locking him in as a starting quarterback for 2025, while opening up almost $31 million in cap savings. The bill will come due another time, potentially next year. Restructuring Carr won't preclude Kellen Moore for looking for a quarterback to hitch his job security to, either in this year's draft or the next. Now, March 9th, insider Josina Anderson reported that the Eagles have fielded trade calls for Dallas Goedert, while seeking a 4th-round pick in compensation. General manager Mickey Loomis has indicated the Saints want to add 2 tight ends this offseason, and Goddard played well in Kellen Moore's offense last year. Don't be shocked if the Saints make a run at him. How do y'all feel about Dallas Goedert? I actually like that. Not too crazy about the quarterback, but Dallas Goedert would work, right? And asking for a 4th-round pick for Dallas Goedert is not a bad package if you want to be honest with me there. All right, anyway, more news. The Saints restructured the contract with linebacker Demario Davis, opening up more salary cap space, but a risky heavy dead cap hit in 2026 if they can't resign him later on down the road. For this part, he wants to keep playing after his contract runs out. He's beginning to show his age, but Davis still has more positive impacts than not. At some point, the Saints have to kind of look, and we're gonna talk more about this later on. March 10th, Nick Underhill reports that the Saints are opening to resign an offensive lineman Lucas Patrick, but no deal has been found yet. Patrick's 31, signed as a minimum salary last offseason, but would like to keep his options open. He started most of the season at left guard, but also helped out at center while dealing with a couple of different injuries. I'm not too upset about bringing Lucas Patrick back, but as a backup. That was originally his move, was backup, and they try to count on Nick Seldevera. You can't count on that guy. So the Saints will have to kind of keep moving ahead. Another thing, Albert Breer suggested that Brandon Cooks could be an option for the Saints at wide receiver. Reuniting with their former 1st-round pick would be intriguing, but you have to wonder how much he adds to a receiving core. Also featuring undersized speedster like Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. I don't like that. Just be honest with you, I don't like the suggestion of Brandon Cooks coming back here, because we need to go in the opposite direction in terms of getting big physical wide receivers. We have Chris Olave, who's about a 6'1" guy. Rashid Shaheed's a 6-foot guy. So they're not smallish guys, but you want a wide receiver with size, like a big guy, like MVS. You want a wide receiver like MVS, a guy that's 6'3", 6'4", with that speed. That complements a Chris Olave. If they want something, MVS would be a good signing for the Saints to bring back for cheap. He really would, because he has a lot of tremendous value for the Saints. And so far as if you plug him with those other guys we just mentioned, because all of them will be fast. They'll take the tops off the defenses. One would hope, right? All right. Insider Josina Anderson reported that the defensive tackle Nathan Shepard agreed to a 1-year contract extension with the Saints. He's been more productive than teammates like Colin Sanders, and this extension should lower his $7 million salary cap hit. What role Staley has in mind for him with Davon Godchaux and Brian Bresee in the mix has yet to be seen. Something going on, right? They restructured Shepard. I was like, cut him, just get rid of him. Just release him. But if that's the case, and Davon Godchaux is here, that's not good news for Bink Saunders. That's not good news for Bink. There's no room for Bink Saunders, because if they're restructuring Nate Shepard, Saunders is in trouble. Davon Godchaux is here, and he takes Saunders' job. They're not running a 4-3 defense. They're not running. And even if they were, it would be Godchaux and Brissy. It wouldn't be Saunders. And Colin Saunders, even Bink Saunders was cool, but he just wasn't the guy we've said that before, but it's time, man. All right. And then, of course, the final one is Athletics. Mike Silver reports that the Saints made a strong push for San Francisco corner. We covered this earlier. Charvarius Ward, for those who just stopping by. Brandon Staley coached him, but couldn't reach an agreement. He's going to the Colts on a 3-year deal worth $35 million. Ward is a solid bounce back candidate, but his performance last year doesn't justify the cost. But Saints says no. We could have just gave Paulson that if that was the case. But anyway, there will be more. And this is all the latest stuff right now. So shout out to the Saints Wires for keeping us up on the stuff that's going around right now. So big ups to those guys. So a lot of and then of course, finally, man, and before we get that to our pressers, let's kind of talk about this other stuff right here. Why don't we? Hold on, let me kind of get that out of here. All right, let's kind of talk about this other stuff. Why don't we? And this is the contract right here. This is something that happened the other day with the Saints restructured Carr's deal to free cap space. And this is something that happened the other day. And the Saints are restructuring Derek Carr's contract to open up $31 million. The Saints plan to convert $30 million base salary, $10 million guaranteed signing bonus, pushing money into the future years and lowering his 2025 cap hit to $20.4 million. His base salary was set to become fully guaranteed Friday. Restructuring Carr's contract ties the quarterback to the Saints for at least the 2025 season, increases Carr's 2026 cap figure to $69 million. We talked about that. A lot of people are up in arms about this too, and reporters like, I think I was on X, and Fletcher Mackle sent a tweet out about it with the mind-blowing emoji. I'm like, well, I mean, dude, this is what he does. It's not hard to figure. I don't know if they see it like we see it, but it ain't hard to tell. In the words of the great Nas, it ain't hard to tell. This whole contract thing with Derek Carr. I mean, Carr was looking to go elsewhere. I don't think he wanted to be here. And many of the Who Dat Nation like, we've seen enough. And usually when your head coach gets forced out or fired, the guy that brought him in here, that guy got to go too. You don't want to saddle your new head coach with this old ass quarterback who didn't work. You want the most of the energy and the vibrant energy that will come with people being excited again about football. It's who's going to be the quarterback. And it's not like this is a young quarterback. Like I said, let's look at it from both angles, because the restructuring is stupid. It's a dumb Loomis move right here. This is a stupid Mickey Loomis stuff. And like I said, you can look at the numbers right here. It makes no sense, because you will be stuck with him next year. There is no way they're going to pay him $69 million to walk out of here next year, or take a $69.2 million hit. I mean, there is no thought about that. Restructuring Carr's contract affirms what Saints general manager Mickey Loomis and Coach Kellen Moore said at the combine in February. Loomis told reporters that the Saints plan to stick with Carr for the third season, but needed to address his cap hit. He said, yeah, it's tight, but he spoke of the salary cap, but there's no secret to that. His is a big number, so we're going to hopefully be able to maneuver. So he does what he do. He kicks the can. That guy, it doesn't have any other move. Stop calling him a genius. Look at this. This is Derek Carr's contract over the cap, has it updated. As you can see, once again, this was $30 million. They restructured it. Now it's 1.2. This is a Mickey Loomis move. That's what he does. I explained this, and we all know this all too well in the Great Saint Think Tank, is that you see these big money moves here, and then you see it balloons again to 50 million. It was 30 million and went down to 1.2. It balloons to 50 in the final year. And then if you look at the cap number for this year, 20.4, but the 69, almost $70 million cap hit is ridiculous. You'll be stuck with this guy next year. The only thing is that's the negative money side of it. The thing is, can the Saints actually win some games this upcoming season. It all depends on if they continue to focus on building up the lines. I do like the Godchaux move. That means the Saints understand from a defensive standpoint that they got ran on last year. You can't have that. So offensively speaking, do they also understand as well that they need to improve the interior of the offensive line as well? You need a starting level guard, and you need the offensive coaching that be able to get these guys to another level in their blocking. We know Tali Fuaga is going to be good. Trevor Penning is trending in the right direction. Cesar Ruiz needs to be pushed to be better than what he is, and you need a left guard. So that is something that you have to address. And I wouldn't be upset if the Saints did address the offensive line and they shuffled the line some. If Mekhi Becton came here with his nasty ferocity and helped out the Saints there, I wouldn't be mad at that at all, because they still have a lot of work to do in terms of getting the backups together. Or if injuries start impacting the Saints, we'll have the same problem. But with that being said, that has to be the tall order for the Saints so that you can run the ball. Yeah, like I've said before, that's the only way I see success with Derek Carr at the quarterback position. He can't be the primary option. It won't work that way, because once again, for the third straight year, he'll be learning a whole new system, which means you can't count on him being a primary option, because he won't know the system that well. So all you can rely upon is the offensive line. You got to rely on the offensive line and the running attack, which is what it is, right? We understand that. And that's the keys to victory as far as I'm concerned, as far as Derek Carr. But that contract is awful. It's a stupid contract, and they blew their opportunity to kind of move forward in a situation where they could have started all over again, because Derek Carr was looking to get out of here. And it was Mickey Loomis that held him here. So don't be mad at Derek Carr. He was trying to get out of here. But, be mad at your dumb, stupid general manager guy who doesn't have any imagination, isn't a complete chump and a moron. I've been saying that for a while. I don't pull my punches with these people. These people need to be checked on this stupidness, man. Several NFL sources believe Carr was open to testing the market in recent weeks, possibly filling the void with quarterback needy team before free agency. The Saints showed no outwardly desire to trade or cut him. That's Mickey Loomis. Wasn't Carr, for my people out there. It wasn't Carr. Carr was trying to get out of here. He was spreading it out that he was interested in being out of here. He knows how the Who Dat Nation feels about him, and the feeling's mutual. And I'm not upset at him. He wants to get out of here, and then Loomis has held him here for 2 years. Because I don't think ain't no way in the world they're getting rid of that man next year. He got over $69 million next year. There's no way in the world he's getting out of here. No way. So he could have been gone this year, and then you rework him and keep him attached to your team for this year and the next year. And then talking about the future. This is what this guy does. So anyway, multiple teams in the quarterback market were made aware of this in recent weeks, according to sources. Carr told ESPN in January that he wouldn't take a pay cut. That lets you know right now, I'm not interested in taking no pay cut. And I was out there, he was fielding offers to go elsewhere. The Saints must start in March with a significant amount of work to do on the cap, needing to free up $40 million in space. They restructured McCoy, and and then two other moves, then two more almost make the Saints cap compliant, although they need to free more space to account for the contracts of Juwan Johnson, Tanu Passanio, and Chase Young, the potential void when the new year league begins. Now, Carr has 2 remaining on the 4-year deal he signed in 2023 and set the void on the last day of the 2026 league year. Next year, you'll be paying him for the next 3 years. You'll be paying Carr over 3 years after he's gone. You think? And this is the thing. So if it fails, you know who to blast at. You know who to aim at. Don't aim at Carr. You aim at Mickey Loomis, because the man was trying to get out of here. So, I mean, that's the culprit that none of these people are holding accountable. None. Gail's dumb. Lauscher is a bloated a Toy Story fit. What's the guy with the toy? What's the guy? Tim, the guy. What's the dude from Toy Story? What's the name of the character? What's the little cowboy? That's who Law should look like. He looks like a bloated version of that character. But that's who's running these teams. They don't know anything, and they do. And the worst part is they don't have any accountability. That what floors me about these folks. They don't. Hold on now, Q. Hold on. Let me tell you something. Hold on now, guy. You know, I know what I'm doing. You know, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know. You had a chance to get that guy out of here, and you did that. You, I tell you, boy, you people insane, man. They're insane. But anyway, let's hit this up, man. I mean, we're gonna get into this aspect of the show, man. We're gonna go over and check out what Kellen Moore has to say about him being here. And y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear this. Here we go. Over this stuff.
Certainly, that's a big part of this. Obviously, you're really excited when you get to team up as a group, certainly on the coaching staff, guys who have kind of come from a lot of different spaces around the NFL and college football as well. And so now it's about us just connecting and building that togetherness. And so any chance we get, together, whether it be a workout, whether it be dinner, Pelicans game certainly last week, we'll just keep trying to grab opportunities just as we find situations to do that. And obviously that'll coincide when the players show up as well. So it's a big part of this.
Chase Hazlitt, just your connection with him.
Yeah.
What attracted you to him?
Worked with Chase in Dallas, phenomenal coach, phenomenal person, love his energy. He's a really special coach. And so we were fired up to have a chance to get him, put him in the position of the tight end room. I think he's been growing each and every time in the NFL. And so we feel really excited.
Similar question for Joel. Have you worked with him before? Obviously, we're familiar with him here. What drew you to him?
I had never worked with Joel before, but heard so many great things, certainly with his time here. Some of the other connections when he was in college football, relationships are a huge part of this thing. And so, as you go through the process, you hear names, more and more. And so Joel's name was one that was very prominent around this whole league. We were fortunate to have an opportunity to bring him back. And, the associate head coach role will give him kind of a role that where a leadership part of this thing will be really, really important, where he can kind of do some leadership stuff across our entire team.
So it wasn't just the Idaho Vandal quota that you
Trust me, it's a hard thing for me to have 3 Vandals on the staff. So I'm a Boise State guy.
Coach, you talk to the players wherever you've been, and they say that you instill confidence and you take input a lot from the individual players. Where did you get that?
The players ultimately, yeah. Well, I'm saying the players are ultimately the guys that make plays. And so, I think this thing is a collaborative effort. It's a lot of fun. We do it together. Sometimes the point of view of the player is very, very valuable, and it helps us educate ourselves whether we need to teach better, make an adjustment, whatever it may be. And so I think, that's the value of this, teaming up with people, doing it the right way, building it together. Certainly in college football, when I was there with Chris Peterson at Boise State, that was a huge example to me, just the leader that he was.
The coaching staff has a lot of people with ties to both New Orleans and to the entire state of Louisiana. How intentional were you with that regard?
Certainly there's some intention and some value in having guys who've been down here, been in Louisiana and have exposure to this place and, just the special community that it is. Certainly you could recognize that very quickly. And so, certainly when we had the opportunity to team up with a few guys who've been down here, we were fired up to do it.
And to have a guy like Doug Nussmeier with you, a guy you worked with for the last several years, how beneficial is that relationship?
Yeah, I've been fortunate to team up with Doug now since Dallas, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia. And so, we spent a lot of time together. We speak the same language. We talk the same way. We complement each other. We have different strengths. And so, I think it's a very valuable opportunity for me, especially transitioning to the head coach role, being able to lean on him with some of the offensive stuff will be hugely valuable.
Yeah, to have a guy with head coaching experience as your defensive coordinator too, just kind of what went into that decision as well.
Yeah, certainly a very valuable component. Brandon's been in these shoes. He's been a head coach in this league. He's coordinated some of the top defense in this league as well. And so, his experience, his exposure, I think his ability to play multiple styles will benefit us, our ability to adjust, week in and week out.
You have time for 2 more?
Somebody said the Nussmeiers have 2 of the biggest spots in Louisiana football, quarterback down the road and offensive coordinator. What have you observed their relationship as father and son, I guess, over the years and his impact on Garrett?
Yeah, certainly the Nussmeier family is really special to us. Being around Doug for such a long time and watching Garrett go through his high school journey, and Colton's going through his now back in Texas right now. And so, they're special people. They do it the right way. Certainly we've been huge Garrett Nussmeier fans from afar, watching their games for a long time now, especially this past year. And so, for Doug and Garrett to be close by, I think there's no better setting.
To have another LSU guy on your staff with Bo Davis, I mean, what was it about him that really drew you to want to have him on the staff? And, how exciting do you think it is to have him here now?
Yeah, big-time coach. Bo's obviously a big-time coach who's done in the NFL, done in the SEC for a long time. We felt like it was just a really, really good opportunity for us to team up with an excellent defensive line coach. And so, obviously, his exposure to this area obviously is beneficial. A lot of these guys that were going through the draft process, he's been recruiting those guys or dealing with the transfer portal. He knows all these kids, and so it's going to be a huge benefit for us.
Kellen, when you talk about a mentor like Coach Linehan, talk a little bit about that and what his role and about him and your development, him being a mentor.
Yeah. Scott's going to be a great addition to our staff. A guy who obviously I've been tied to closely for a long time, just as far as playing in Detroit under him, going to Dallas, and then obviously transitioning to coaching in many ways because of him. And so he's got a lot of experience in this league, a lot of experience in football. We'll be able to lean into that. He'll be able to help us as we build the system, and then obviously help us throughout each and every week with the game plans and some of those different things.
Thank you all.
All right.
All right, Kellen Moore, man. What's interesting, man, about the whole situation, like he talked about Coach Bo, the defensive line coach. I thought that was a really smart move by the Saints, and really, truly bringing him in here. And if you guys know anything about Coach Bo, he is a absolute genius in developing defensive linemen. He's did it all over the place in college. He has some pro experience too. And for the Saints to kind of bring him in to be the defensive line coach, I just thought that was really an intelligent move by the Saints defense, because that's one of the things we wanted to see was the improvement of the defensive line, the maturation of guys like Isaiah Foskey, the continued development, and ultimately the quantum leap into superstardom that we believe Carl Granderson could take if the Saints do re-sign Chase as well, him working with him and Brian Bresee, those guys, Christian Boyd and the rest of our young interior linemen. Coach Bo could really do some stuff with those guys to kind of help their games go to the next level, because that's a big part, right? You got Davon Godchaux coming down here too. So it'll be interesting to see the path here with him. I'm really excited about that signing out of all the Saints assistants. Love that signing. When I heard that, I was like, man, that is genius level right there, getting Coach Bo to run that defensive line for the Saints. And still the Saints also kept Brian Young as a defensive line assistant. So that was another thing I was thinking about. Okay, hopefully they can bring back Brian Young, because we love what Brian Young has been doing. You take him and Coach Bo together, I'm just waiting to see the Saints defensive line take it to that next level, man. It's going to be really awesome to see that, man. So I'm really, really, really happy about that, to be quite honest with you. All right, fam, let's keep it moving, man. We're going to move on to the next coach. It's Coach Nussmeier, and we're going to bring up Coach Nussmeier and hear what he had to say. And like I said, his interviews is a little longer, it's just under 9 minutes. So I hear from him.
Yeah, just kind of take me through the last year for you, just how crazy it was. Obviously, winning the Super Bowl here, and then obviously moving down to New Orleans for this job.
Yeah, it was a great year. Get a chance to live in the Northeast for the first time in my life. Never been to Philly. Wonderful people there, wonderful experience there, obviously. To end the way it ended there was outstanding. And then, like I said, to have the opportunity to come back here to New Orleans, be a part of this organization, been blessed. Can't really describe it any other way than don't know what I did, but somehow got blessed.
So what was your reaction when you first got the offer?
It was really interesting, because at the time you just got done with the Super Bowl, and now this is going on. Try to take a minute to reflect on that. Yet all these other things are happening, and obviously, just like I said, very excited, blessed, have the opportunity to be close to Garrett in his senior year. For a wife to have an opportunity to come back to where she's from, it just doesn't happen very often in our profession.
You touched on Garrett for a second. What was his reaction when you told him to take the job here?
He was excited, obviously, as usually is the case in our industry. Things are kind of ahead of it before they really actually happen. So he's calling me, Dad, what's going on? I say, I don't know yet. yet. So we just have to wait and see. And obviously, like I said, we're blessed. Our family's been blessed. It's a really exciting time.
Yeah, to be closer to Garrett, like you said, during the senior year at LSU, like you said, you have a daughter there as well. Just kind of what does it mean to be closer to your daughter and your son too?
Well, when you're in this profession and doing what we do, and then him having the opportunity to play at LSU, it's such a prestigious program. Like last year, watched almost all the games on TV, so maybe have an opportunity to sneak down for one or two, but obviously he's going to be very busy with what they're doing. We're going to be very busy with what we're doing here. So, but just to be closer to it, like I said, blessed.
How do you think he's matured over the years and got better as a quarterback? That's a bright spotlight to be the LSU quarterback.
Sure it is. And like I said, blessed to have that opportunity. And with that opportunity comes a lot of responsibility. He understands that. And just for him to find his passion in football, that was his passion, was to play, football at the level he's getting an opportunity to play it at. And the challenges that come with it. It hasn't always been easy for him there. So I'm proud of the way that he's found his way.
I don't know if I'm asking to compliment yourself, but people say he's a coach's son. And when you're a coach's son, you mature, you maybe stay away from social media and those kind of things. You feel like you kind of had that impact on him?
Yeah, well, for him, he had to overcome a lot to get there. He had to overcome a bad coach. So, no, obviously, like I said before, it wasn't my goal being his father for him to play collegiate football. That was not my goal. My goal was for him to find his passion, and whatever that passion may be, to go achieve at the highest level he could in that passion. And for him, it was football. So very proud of what he's accomplished, and obviously looking forward to the Tiger season.
What enticed you to Demario Davis?
Oh, I tell you what, you would ask that question, wouldn't you? I tell you what, from the moment I met her, I just can't say enough about Christy. She's been the rock of our family. Beautiful, outgoing, loving, smart. Like I said, I've been blessed in a lot of ways, and way more blessed than I deserve in that way.
What is it about Kellen Moore that's made that relationship so unique, and you guys have been tied to each other for so?
I appreciate that reporter jumping in there, man. I like, of course, y'all know LSU is my squad. I think Garrett Nussmeier is a good quarterback, but he got a lot to learn, man. Got a lot to learn. But what I do understand looking at this, and I appreciate the reporter bringing it back to the Saints and about Kellen Moore. Let's talk system and scheme, because Garrett's not in the draft, right? One or two questions, we good. Let's keep it moving. But outside of that, with Nussmeier being here and ties to LSU and Coach Bo on the defensive line, don't be surprised, fam. We might see more LSU people on this team. We're talking players. That's something that hasn't just been a thing that we haven't seen. Saints traded for Davon Godchaux today. That's a former LSU guy. So is that something to let us know it might be a little something going on in the future? Perhaps we might get more LSU players on this team. I would not be upset about that. We got a lot of good players that play out here.
Well, other than the fact that he played at Boise State, so once we remove that, Kellen's he's so smart, so bright, understands where he wants to go, and just does a great job of finding a way to get there. And it might not be the straightest path, but his ability to look at different things, look at circumstances, understand, where he wants to end up, and find a way to get there.
Sorry if you've been asked this, kind of came in late. I know the team made the decision on Derek Carr with his contract restructure. Just your thoughts on working with him, building an offense with him as your quarterback.
Yeah. Excited about our whole room, really excited. That was part of the opportunity, that when you look at opportunities and you're in the quarterback room, just really excited about Derek, what he's done in his career. Great admiration for what he's done. Really looking forward to what we can build off of here. And then, obviously Spencer, Jake, Ben, those guys all bring great things to the table too. So really looking forward to, we're in this phase here. We got a lot of evaluation going on of, our system, we're also looking at players and free agency in the draft, and then really looking forward to the opportunity when we get our players here.
Impression of this team when you guys played them.
Really good football team. Obviously that was a very difficult game. Fortunately, we were able to, get the mesh play at the end there to Dallas, get the ball down there, scored late, and won the game. But, a lot of respect for this team.
I know Bobby mentioned your wife being from this area. When you got drafted here, they were off the Davis draft, but this facility wasn't here. Do you kind of just, think, where you've come 30 years from when you first got drafted here?
Well, when I got drafted here, we were in the old facility.
Really?
So that's how old I am. No, so, I remember those days, and just to see the investment that Mrs. Benson and the organization's made into this facility. It's a top-notch facility. It's great.
You just talked about working with Derek Carr, but when you translate the championship run to a team that struggled in this past season, how do you do so? How do you look forward to doing that?
Well, last year we went through a situation in Philly where everybody said it's a struggle, it's a challenge. Every team, every place you go in this league, it's a challenge. This league is built to be an evenly balanced league. That's why the draft structure the way it is. That's why the salary cap is the way it is. So, every opportunity is unique. Every team's unique. So our goal is to build the best possible team we can here in New Orleans.
What would you tell yourself about 20 years ago when you were playing for the team that you'd be the offensive coordinator?
I don't know that I ever had the foresight to think that way. I didn't know at that point in time. My goal wasn't to be an offensive coordinator in the NFL. My goal was to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Obviously, fell far short of that goal. But, like I said, just the career path that we've been fortunate to go on and for it to come full circle here, just blessed.
Doug, was 19 your first year with Kellen?
18 was.
18. Okay, so like when he first started coaching.
Yes.
Yeah. So was it evident early on working with him that like he would have this opportunity fairly soon?
Yeah, I don't think it's hard when you're in a room with people and you're in there for an extended period of time. You start to figure out how smart people are, how good they are, and it wasn't hard.
Your team showed this past season how important having a good running back is. What do you think about the running back room at the same time right now?
Well, obviously I have a little bit of history with Alvin. Was at Alabama with him for a short period of time there, so think the world of him. I think obviously, like every other room, we're going to create competition. Feel really good about the players. Obviously, we're going to acquire players, and the whole goal is just for us to get the system in place, get everybody together, and then just start working towards the goal of being the best team we can be.
To have a guy like Taysom Hill, just how much better does he make an offense?
I think anytime you have players that can play in multiple roles, it creates a real problem for the defense because they don't really know when they go on the field what they're out there to do. I mean, certain players, defenses know as soon as the guy crosses the white lines, it comes into play. Okay, he's going into play tight end or he's going into play receiver. When you have guys that can play multiple roles, it creates a whole other element for the defense to have to think about what type of formation presentation they might be getting, where's the alignment's going to be, who's going to be at what position. So it's challenging for them.
And you mentioned the years that you've been with Kellen. How have you seen him grow over these 2 seasons that you've been with?
Well, I think he's just grown in every aspect of coaching. Obviously, he hasn't been coaching for a long, long time. So obviously he's grown tremendously in every way.
All right. That's Dougie Nussmeier, man, and dropping game about it. And we'll see, man. We'll see what's going on there. It's very interesting. A lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff popping and snapping with the Saints, man. We need to figure out exactly what happened, and it's still very early on. So we'll get to the bottom of it and all that kind of great stuff. But Doug Nussmeier, man. All right, let's move. That's our offensive coordinator. Let's go to our defensive coordinator and see what he has to say. And of course, the Saints make the trade to get a LSU defense. Well, actually, the guy's a nose tackle for Staley's defense. So that's big. But let's hear from Coach Staley. Let's see what he got to say. That's the internet. Come on.
I think you go back to Coach's son and playing at Boise and him playing in the NFL and what he's done as a coach in the NFL. I've had to compete against him a lot. We've coached together, and then to see what he did this year with Philly, was just really special, not surprising. And then when you're talking about New Orleans with the Saints and, what Mickey has helped build here, and Mrs. Benson, Mr. Benson, what they mean to the NFL. And, in my time in coaching, the Saints have been one of the premier teams in the league for almost 2 decades. So I know how important football is to the city, to the state, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it.
You mentioned it's pretty early, but have you made a definitive call on 3-4-3, or do you just evaluate the personnel, or how do you go about that?
You just said it. We're at the beginning, and so much of how you're going to play is the type of personnel that you're going to be coaching. So we're at the beginning of that here with, free agency and the draft process, and we've got a core group that's going to be coming back. But until that group is out there on the field in the springtime, I don't think we're truly going to know. We're going to try and be flexible enough to be able to defend all the different types of offenses that you have to play against. And we want to be specific in the matchup. We want to make sure that we go into every game with a plan to win. But a lot of what we're going to do is centered on who this group of guys we're going to be coaching.
I think Kellen said it really doesn't, matter with the basis, because you end up in so many sub packages anyway.
That's right. Yeah, it's a 3-receiver league, and you've got to be able to match up in 5 defensive backs. That's what you play 70+% of the time now, and I think the different versions of 5 DBs is kind of what can give you an advantage, but that's where the game is now, and it's always been a matchup game. Now you're just matching up against 3 receivers.
You mentioned the personnel and how important it is to acquire somebody like a Godchaux that you can plug in on the offensive line. How much maybe does that help?
Well, it starts up front with any defense you play, no matter what scheme you play. You got to start the game inside out, and so we believe in that. And so as many versatile defensive linemen we can join up with, that's going to give us an advantage. And it starts in the run game and allows you the opportunity to rush the passer. But with all the runners in this league right now, you better start there.
I know too much is probably made of 4-3 versus 3-4. What is one or two of the core principles of the 3-4 that has made that your sort of preferred base?
I think it gives you more flexibility in how you play. But hey, edge players play on the edge no matter what system you play in. Inside players play on the inside no matter what system you play in. So, I think that you have to have versatility in your personnel groupings in the modern NFL. It's so much of a matchup league, and if you can have some hybrid groupings that kind of give you a chance to have that flexibility week to week, I think that's important. I know Kellen's probably talked about that because it's the same way on offense.
All right, hold on, fam.
You may have 11 personnel grouping on offense, but who those people are and how you play them, it's going to be different. So, we just want to make sure we can go into any game and be able to match up.
When you worked with Kellen, did you learn some things about him that you couldn't have known prior to that?
Yeah, I think anytime you spend that much time together, you learn so much. And in the NFL, I don't think you truly learn about people till you're in the fire together and you play in these big games and you go through these situations together. And I know how much he helped me in our time together. I know what's important to him from a teaching standpoint, as a competitor, coaching a team, the way he believes in playing. But I think, the thing about Kellen is his flexibility. You're not going to find, very many guys who are as sharp as he is, but also have this flexibility. And whoever I coach, whoever that group is, I can go coach that group and give it a great chance to be successful. And I've always been impressed with that. And so, I love who he is as a person. I believe in him and just so happy for him. And, I'm just excited to team up together again.
Is that kind of an awkward adjustment at all? Like 2 years ago, you were the head coach and he was the offensive coordinator. He's the head coach. And is that kind of just weird to make that shift at all?
Oh, not at all. I mean, we're all teammates. I don't care if you're the head coach or a coordinator or a position coach. You're all in it together. I believe in, his vision for leading the football team. So when he reached out to me and talked about how he wants to lead this football team, a lot of it was similar to when we were working together. But now he gets to do it, his way. And I believe in him and that way as much as anything.
Has your experience as a head coach helped guide him through this first season?
I think anytime you can join up with people who have experienced something, it's going to give you an advantage, but especially if you know that person. So I'll be able to help him where he needs it. I think we're very fortunate in this organization, with Mickey and his group, a very experienced, front office. And then this coaching staff. I mean, you look at the staff that he's been able to put together. I think there's a lot of really complementary experiences, but the fact that we've worked together, hopefully it gives us a better starting point.
You mentioned Kellen's vision. I don't want to put you on the spot, but what is your vision? You got a lot of veteran players, Cam, Demario, Carr. Have you talked to them? And do you kind of, when you were talking with Kellen, lay out a vision of how these pieces work for you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think based on that initial group, I've got so much respect for, the Cam Jordans of the world and Demario, Kyron. And these guys have accomplished so much, and they're proven players, proven leaders. I know how much they've meant to this team, and so it's been great to talk with those guys, to learn about them. From the outside, you respect them, you kind of know their game, but to know them personally, that's where the real magic is to team up with these guys to create something new. But we're at the beginning, and there's a lot of work to do.
All right.
That grouping.
All right. That's Brandon Staley, the new defensive coordinator for the Saints, man. And listen, to be honest with you, I learned he was more specific than any of these other guys. They're still stuck in evaluation mode where they're just giving everybody, Oprah Winfrey love. You get a call, that type of thing. Well, Derek Carr, it's excellent, that type of stuff. Everything's general about career, this, that, and third. Just to be honest, we don't really care about all that other stuff. We talking, we kind of centric. What we talking about, we want to know what could you do for us. We on our Janet Jackson thing. What have you done for me lately? What could you do right now? But Coach Staley, he's talking about defenses. Good questions in this interview, especially the ones about the scheme, talking scheme. I wish the conversation was more of that with Coach Nussmeier, like when they were talking about with Coach Staley, talking about the 34 defense. Heard questions. He prefers the 34 defense. And of course, the modified front for the 34 defense would be the 3-3-5, which is, the 5 defensive backs to go along with the 3 down linemen and the 3 linebackers. That will be his version of that. So with that being said, the thought process has to be like, okay, the 34 defense is here in New Orleans again, right? We love that, but that has to have some type of effect on who you're going to have on the line. If it's 3 linemen, who are the linemen? Who are they? We know Carl Granderson's one of them. We know Davon Godchaux is going to be he's going to be the nose tackle. And the other one is it Chase Young or Brian Bresee? Who is it going to be? So time will tell. 34 defense, it changes. Like when it changes your free agent outlook, when it really does, unless the Saints sign Chase where he's a edge guy, right? Where he'll operate as a stand-up linebacker type. I don't know. Then there's rumors about Bosa. And if you had your picks and chooses between Bosa, and Chase, what do you do? So, I mean, this is going to be fun defensively speaking, because I'm a defensive guy. So I love the fact that the Saints, one of their biggest and first moves of the season was a trade to get a nose tackle. That right there lets me know, hey, man, at least from a defensive standpoint, they're dialed in on what needs to happen here, which is also bad news for Bink Saunders. So Nate Shepard beat him to the punch with the restructure, so he'll be here. Bink Saunders is in trouble. So anyway, yeah, that's right. Maul says Cam is the odd man out. See, and this is the thing. You're going to have a few backup guys that will come off the bench, stuff like that. But with the 34 defense, we all realize, fam, the strength of the 34 defense is the linebackers. The linebackers. And Demario Davis is doing the restructure, which means he'll be here for at least another year. And you have Pete Werner there. Those will be your inside guys. And then outside, you have to find who your outside guys are going to be. Do the Saints bring back Willie Gay? Because Willie Gay, I think he can perform in the 34 defense. His speed and all this kind of stuff. And he will be cheap. Do the Saints reach to him? And Staley, of course, is going to reach the guys who he knows from the 49ers to kind of bring in, like he tried to do with the defensive back that turned him down for the Colts. He's going to keep reaching. So we'll see as time goes on what it looks like, man. But things kind of change. You know, things kind of change. So we'll see where it is with the whole the Chase Young thing, because I know the Saints want to sign him back. But it'll be an interesting point to see how that looks, man. I'm really interested to see how that looks. So anyway, with the Saints thing, hold on, let me get this, because did I get this? Hold on here, fam. Because while we were doing the show, the Saints announced that they signed Chase Young to a multi-year deal. So right when we doing the show, so I guess this is a bit of breaking right here. This is reported. Here's Mike Fliaro with Pro Football Talk. This is an article from them. Saints bringing in a slew of free agents, but they're keeping one of their own. Multiple reports the Saints have reached an agreement with defensive end Chase Young on a multi-year deal. It's a 3-year deal with the base value of $51 million. He can make up to $6 million. So the Saints have re-signed Chase Young to a multi-year deal, a 3-year deal worth $51 million. He can make up to $6 million and make up another $6 million in incentives based on, I guess, sacks and all this kind of stuff. Second overall pick in 2020. Young was NFL's Defensive Rookie of the Year, a torn ACL in 2020, and a delayed rehab limited him to 9 games in his second season and 3 in 2022. He was traded to the 49ers, and then he signed with the Saints last year. He's 25, and in all 17 games last season had 5.5 sacks. So you have Chase Young back on a 3-year deal with Carl Granderson. Yes. It's going to be fun, man, to see how the Saints roll this thing out here. It's going to be fun to see how that 34 defense looks, you know where Brian Bresee plays in that thing. You see what I'm saying? I wonder because the athleticism of a Chase Young or Carl Granderson, how do they fit in that hole? You see what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting to see how the Saints use it because, like Coach Staley says, the 34 look gives a lot of versatility. Like I said, the strength of the defense is the linebackers. And because of the speed and the ability to drop into coverage in passing situations or to rush in running situations against your opponent. Another thing is the fact that the defensive line up front has to be all about the business. The down 3 has to be serious for that 34 to work right. So that's pretty cool. So while we were doing the show, the Saints signed Chase Young to a multi-year deal. So congratulations to Chase Young. And that's a really a positive thing, to be honest with you, because Chase Young was a guy, man, that a lot of people found. A lot of people, including myself, like, okay, I like Chase Young, man, but he's a guy that just seems to be prone to injury, but the man stayed healthy and boom, look at him. He got the payday. So shout out to Chase Young. All right, how y'all guys feel about that, man? So yeah, we get Chase Young back. That's Carl Granderson. Oh, let me get my depth chart up here, man, because let's show the family members, because that's actually a pretty good thing right there. We knew eventually the Saints were interested in getting them back, and I knew as soon as they had an opportunity to do something that would be something that they would look at doing. There's a couple of things going on too. Sam Darnold, outside football news, Sam Darnold, who was with the Vikings last year, is going to Seahawks on $100 million. Oh, are you kidding me? The Seahawks are giving them. So that's the quarterback that Clint Kubiak, Andrew Janoku, and all these other dudes that were down here last year, their quarterback is Sam Darnold. He gave him $100 million. I guess I can't be surprised about that. We gave Carr a buck 50. The Jets reach a $40 million deal with Fields. So the Jets, Coach Glenn, is getting Justin Fields as his quarterback, right? And quarterback Wilson, I see the ex-Jets and Broncos QB Wilson to Dolphins. Eagles trading Pickett to Browns. Pickett is the quarterback for the Eagles. They trade him to Cleveland. Why don't they just, boy, they trying to get from up under old boy. What's his name? Boy, I'm so glad we dodged that bullet. You know, and to be honest with you, I would be happy. I guess it was the better of the two because we were trying to get that guy, man. Could you imagine what that would have been like to end up with Deshaun Watson down here? And, yeah, boy, that would have been something horrible. But anyway, that's some of the moves being going on right now, fam. A lot of moves going on. Saints getting back and doing their thing, picking up Chase Young. 3-year deal. They saying ESPN is saying Adam Schefter reporting that sucker. See if I can get that on screen right there. He's saying it's 3-year, $51 million deal with up to $57 million. So these are a few of the moves that's happening right now. We'll just have to use check. Fam. The Niners release Pro Bowl fullback Kyle Juszczyk. Man, you know, imagine if the Saints reach at Kyle Juszczyk. Oh, well, that would be, you know, we've been kind of saying, man, we could use a fullback. He kind of old, but he still can give you some value there. Juszczyk got released there, and this is just a few things for the family members here. A few of the signings happen here. Yep, Justin Fields goes to the to the Jets. So that's interesting, man. So like I said, when there's a will, there's a way. Oh, man, Broncos add 49ers linebacker Dre Greenlaw. Oh, man, Greenlaw. Dude, that is going to be a kick-ass signing right there for the Sean Payton's team. Dre Greenlaw is a beast. So Sean Payton adding to his defense. Coach Payton building up them Broncos over there. It just took him 2 seasons, and he got them respectable. So there's a few signings right here as well. Mac Hollins, the wide receiver from the Raiders, signed with the Patriots. Michael Gallup is visiting the Commanders. Slayton staying with the Giants. So it's a few of the signings right here, fam, to kind of talk about here with the team as they're making moves. The Panthers re-signed Michael Jackson to a deal. So few moves here going on here in the NFL circles. So that's some of the biggest things right now as the world turns. So we'll be watching out for all this stuff. But the big news facing the Saints as of this hour is the fact that the team has re-signed Chase Young to a 3-year deal over $50 million. And that puts us, and that's very interesting. A lot of the signings originally the Saints picking up the trade for Godchaux from the Patriots, the signing of Chase Young. Saints are really kind of looking at kind of keeping that defense, kind of building up them lines and getting after you. You know, run the ball and get after your own defense. That's what it's about. So big ups to the Saints on that, focusing on defense, fam. Focusing on their defense. So I appreciate the hell out of that. All right. So anyway, fam, let me kind of move on over to you guys and hear what you guys have to say. If y'all got any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. We still got the poll question going on right now to grade the trade. What you think about the Saints acquisition of Davon Godchaux, and, you know, using a 7th round draft pick from 2026, not 25, but 2026, 7th round pick for a 9th year nose tackle with a nasty disposition that played games and is available. You see what I'm saying? So I like the defensive energy we're moving with right now for the Saints. So I like I'm a defensive guy. Y'all know that. All right. So anyway, let's see if we can get some questions from the fam. Y'all feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll do my absolute best to answer them. What's up, DGX? Shout out to you, my friend. He says, who do you draft at number 9? That depends, bro. Well, Saints got their tackle, you know, and they signed Chase Young. So that kind of kicks out your defensive lineman, right? because you're not going to take a defensive lineman. So a lot of these questions getting answered. So if you're using, you're signing, you traded next year's second round draft pick to get a starting nose tackle. You sign Chase Young back, so the Saints are going to pivot away from that. So where do you go then? Where else do the Saints need starters at if you're there? Now, of course, there are all these things that could fall to you take the best player available, because the Saints definitely need a lot of people. They really do. They can use players pretty much everywhere. They can use a wide receiver, they can use a tight end, they can use some help at the quarterback position going into the future. They can use some help on the offensive line. They can use some help at the linebacker level, right? They can use some help in the cornerback room, because if you reach for Ward, it didn't get him, he went to the Colts. That showed me that the Saints are still looking to add another player there with Kool-Aid McKinstry, with Alontae Taylor. Then there's Rico Payton. I really like Rico Payton, but the Saints want another guy there. So, if you're in the draft, it probably will be the best player available. But for me at number 9, I'm going to try to take a starter. I'm going to try to get a starter, whether that's an offensive guard, an offensive lineman, or if that's a tight end, because I don't think Juwan Johnson's coming back here. I think the Saints are going to pivot away from him. There's, like I just talked to you guys early in the broadcast about, there's rumors out there about the Saints being interested in Dallas Goedert. And the team, they want I think it's a 4th round selection or something like that for him. So maybe the Saints can water it down to a 5th round selection for a really good tight end to add here. So it depends, but I would have to say and there's still rumors about Mekhi Becton. He could be a guy that Saints bring in here. But so, like I said, I would go like a line. I would go line like offensive line, depending on who's there. And like I said, man, it'll be a tough decision, but the free agency will kind of hammer it out for you where you go in the draft. It'll kind of simplify things, because right now we kind of incomplete. So right now, in about 2 weeks from now, my answer would change drastically based on what the Saints do in free agency. So me personally, I'm like you heard Coach Staley, Coach Defensive Coordinator Staley, says you work from the inside out. He was alluding to the fact that you build your lines. Build your lines. You work from the inside out. Offense and defensive lines need to be built. I've been on that kick, before we get to the glory or the glamorous positions, the quarterback, wide receivers, all this kind of old stuff. We need help at the offense. We need a starting left guard. If Will Campbell or any of these guys, there's another offensive lineman that's up there from from another offensive lineman that's up there. If any of these guys fall to us, you need to, see about looking at those guys. You know what I'm saying? You need to look at those guys. Building up those lines is crucial for success in the NFL, because you got a scary quarterback. Remember that you got a scary ass quarterback who guys get within 5 to 7 feet from him, and he's puking and throwing the ball up for interception. So I mean, you got to protect. You got to start from the inside out, those lines. That's always been my staple point. Thank you, DGS. Hope I answered your question there, brother. All right, let's see any more questions for the fam before we get on up out of here. What's up, True Hurt? Shout out to you, fam. I appreciate and salute all y'all. Thank y'all, man. Doc Savage, I see you, bro. Mad Drummer, big ups to you. Mad Drummer says, why are the Texans signing so many receivers? That's what they do. Don't they do that every year? They don't like guys. They're like, okay, we don't like this guy. Let's get him. But they have been having injuries issues with their wide receivers. Like you had Tank, the little wide receiver. Tank can't stay healthy. He's a ton of potential. Can't stay healthy. So they've been having issues with wide receiver injuries. And it's kind of it kind of hurt their offense last year, because CJ Stroud had that real spectacular first year. His sophomore year, it wasn't bad, but you expect that. But his third year is going to be phenomenal. And they're just paying attention to the position that just really kind of hit on them the last year. That was a problem. So I mean, I think that's probably why they're doing that, man. Doc says, Q, have you thought about starting a Discord for Pels and Saints talk with the community? Yes, I have, bro. I have thought about that. About a year or so ago, I thought about starting a Discord I'm gonna have to study. I'm gonna have to study upon it. Matter of fact, I think I set it up. I just didn't get behind it because I had different projects that I was operating on. Y'all know I'm the editor in chief for the whodatdaily.com with all our stuff, all the other content and all this other stuff we got going on. So sometimes, time is an issue, but I will do a better job of kind of getting that done, brother. Appreciate that. 504 Russell says, I keep hearing Juwan Johnson is trash, but he was our only viable threat last season. He's going to go somewhere and make an impact. I don't know who's calling them trash, bro. Who's calling Juwan Johnson trash? I don't think Juwan Johnson was trash. I think Juwan Johnson had 50-something catches last year. You're right. He was, out of all of our wide receivers, our most consistent wide receiver. Chris Olave got hurt because of the hospital ball. Rashid Shaheed got hurt. And MVS came in later on in the year. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Juwan Johnson was the most available of all of our wide receivers, and he really showed out in terms of having his best year. But is that enough for the Saints to pivot to him, and say, Juwan Johnson, you are our tight end of the future? I don't think so. I think his money, his number is going to be high. The Saints are not going to want to donate that kind of money to the tight end position when they can just go into the draft. I mean, this draft is loaded with really good tight ends. Plus, in free agency and trade, they're going to be guys available, and the Saints are probably going to get one or two of them. So they're all over the place. And like I said, there's no disrespect to Juwan Johnson, but Juwan Johnson came up from nothing, from the mud with the Saints. The guy was a wide receiver buried on the depth chart with the Saints, and they converted him to a tight end. He climbed from the bottom to the start and became the Saints' best tight end. That's something to be said about that. Last year was his best year. I thought he could have been a lot better. Juwan Johnson had focus issues in many of the games where he had easy drops. You know what I'm saying? And then there were spectacular plays. It was that little line of inconsistency right there. But I don't see star there in Juwan Johnson. He's a very good player. But I think the Saints, they're not going to pay that price for him unless he is economical, which that man wants to get paid, right? He wants to get paid as an undrafted guy. But I think the Saints are going to find somebody else. Shout out to Linda, says every play starts with the offensive line. Build the O-line first. No QB can play if they're on the ground. That's right. And especially, Linda, shout out to you for that, because you got a scary guy operating from that corner. That guy is scary, man. The guys get around him, boy. Everything starts flying. His eyes bucking, like that Chiefs game showed me everything, boy. That dude was looking good. It was flowing. Everything was moving like new money. And then that guy got within 7 feet and he just threw the ball up. I'm like, what? Why did he do that? Threw the ball up high. The Chief player picked it off. The whole complexion of the game changed. The Saints were marching to score on that drive before he did that. And we were like, why the hell did he did that? Then at the end of the game, he's saying, I was trying to throw the ball out of bounds. Really? So you couldn't just turn and just fire the ball out of bounds? You had to rainbow it up? It's just, that's what I'm saying. The plays like that with Derek Carr, my goodness, that's the thing that really infuriates the Who Dat Nation, because it's just those type of stupid, cowardly plays, and then the fake and terrible acting job, the CD list acting job of pretending like it's not what we seen. Like the whole thing with Chris Olave when he threw that hospital ball. I didn't see any problem with, I didn't see, come on. That whole thing, I'm like, come on, dude. Like the whole thing with Jeff Duncan saying, do you have the answers? Remember that? The Saints was stinking, and he set up that line about telling people, yeah, we got the answers in the building. So Jeff Duncan asked him, what's the answers? Well, I can't tell you they're in the building. That means you don't have them if you can't tell them, because what you could tell me right now, that'll hurt your chances of winning if you got to figure it out. And guess what? That next game they came out and they lost. So just dumb, stupid lying and rotten behavior like that, just people remember that. Most of these other cats don't. They don't remember none of that, but we do. We remember all that. That kind of stuff it just floors me. That's right, Maul. Tyler Warren has highest. It's Tyler Warren is the kid from I keep forgetting the man name from Bowling Green. I think he led the nation in receptions. The Bowling Green tight end, the guy from Miami, the guy from Texas, Gunnar Helm. What's the other tight end? The kid from Michigan is a good one. He blocks well. And it's another one I read. It's a bunch of them, man. So many of them, man. It's ridiculous. Who that data says, Q, where does this leave Foskey, the snowman, with Chase Young sign? Leaves him as a reserve. It leaves him as a reserve. But if you look at these guys, like Foskey and Curl and Chase, the potentiality for them to play in the 34 defense is intriguing because they're not like they're not like a Cam Jordan looking guy. You know what I'm saying? They're almost like big linebacker types that has defensive lineman weight to them. You know what I mean? Look at Chase and look at Carl Granderson and look at Isaiah Foskey. These guys are like 6'4", 6'5" guys, right? But they're like 250, 260. They don't look like Cam Jordan, like a traditional 6'4" defensive end that's like 280 pounds. You know what I mean? These guys are like they're defensive ends, but they're like big linebacker type players. You know what I'm saying? Which means they have all this athleticism going on, and maybe some potentiality where you can be able to move these guys around and have them playing a certain kind of way. But Isaiah Foskey, perhaps he can be that. He has some athleticism to him, but some kind of way they're going to have to figure a way to get Isaiah Foskey reps in whatever system that they're going to run. But I don't see where Cam fits in it at all. If it's a 34 defense, with Cam being as slow as he is, where does he fit? You might have to put Cam in the street. You know, we'll see what they do, man. We'll see what goes on there. I don't know. LM says, should we re-sign Isaac Yiadom? I don't know, bro. Let's probably, if you need a depth like a practice squad player, Isaac Yiadom could be a guy because he has some positive things with him. That he has some positive stuff going on, but I don't know, bro. There might be better options for the Saints outside of them. Yeah, Mad Drummer says, yes, hell yes, to Goddard. Yeah, Becky. Yeah, some of these guys are coming, bro. These dudes they're going to be arriving in New Orleans. The Saints they got needs for those players. It's not like those players we have a luxury of whatever. We need a starting tight end with. I don't think the Saints signed Juwan Johnson back. Now, I did show you a report that it is rumored the Saints are interested in signing Lucas Patrick back, the starting left guard last year. But y'all know Lucas Patrick is a backup. He's not a starting level anything. He's a guy that comes in there if your starter is down for a few games and he goes in there and he plays. But you don't put that guy in there for 10 games in the season. That's not what he is there for. That's why he kept breaking down. That's not his game. He is a backup. So we have a gaping hole that is on the offensive line at the left guard position. The thought process is if one of your top offensive linemen fall to you at 9, which is possible, then there might be a shift depending on who that player is. It could be a shift where they kick somebody inside off the tackle position, which could be Penny. Depends on who it is. So you keep your options open. Because I could tell you the Saints are definitely looking at that. And if Mekhi Becton is a guy that they bring in here, man, they could shift some stuff on the Saints line. I wouldn't be mad at them for it either. The offensive line, defensive lines, that is definitely key. So the trade for Godchaux, the re-signing of Chase, these are very positive signings, man. And for the people that just stepped in, Chase Young signed a 3-year deal worth over $50 million. So he back and forth. Yeah, Rico Payton's good. All right, what's up, Jaden, man? What's happening, man? He says, Q, do you remember after Saturday night's Pelicans game when I told you I think Willie Green looked like a bacon wrap? He looks like a bacon wrap sandwich. Okay, you got to explain that one to me, brother Jaden. I remember you saying that, but I wonder, you're gonna have to break that down. What make him look like a bacon wrap sandwich, brother? You got. Is that you talking? Is that a Willie Green nose joke thing? You're gonna have to break that down for me, brother. Pelicans Nola says, Q, do we still have MBS? Now he's a free agent, bro. So Saints will have to bring him back, and I'm for that. I think that helps us out big time. Nola Bars TV says, I'm not mad at Brissy and Chase on our side. Looks like we're going offensively heavy in the draft. Could be, bro. We see how the lot of the original moves, like you trade for a nose tackle, you sign Chase Young. The Saints tried to go get a cornerback from the 49ers. He chooses to go to the Colts. So those 3 moves were defensive. So that's not saying that the offensive moves are not coming, but at the end of the day, they're going at the lines, and I like that. So they're still looking at somebody in the secondary. They still you got to look at the offensive line and get that together. You got to start tightening. So you look at where you need help at. You need another starting, because regardless or not, Chris Olave because they remember they did the thing last year when they had Cedric Wilson Jr., who signed as a wide receiver. Cedric Wilson Jr. was supposed to be what MVS was to the team later on in the year, but Cedric Wilson Jr. was a bust and needs to be released. They could do a lot better. So if you re-sign MVS, that's a cheap deal that helps out. Chris Olave is a very good wide receiver, but I still feel like he needs an MVS type guy on the opposite side. Rashid Shaheed is a 3. He's a 3, a guy that goes against that third cornerback, that burn, and you can move them all around however your imagination goes. But if you can have those 3 operating, that solves a lot, so, but it depends, because if I don't doubt Ted McMillan will be available at the 9th position, but if Ted's there, man, that's an unbelievable player. That's like a superstar player that he would be on another planet with the Saints offense, when what he could do. I don't think he gets to you at 9, but like I said, there's a lot of directions, but I'm going to just stay disciplined and stay with the line, man. That's what I'm going to do. But yeah, that Brian Brissy and Chase Young, man, that's the future there with him and Carl Granderson. I think they might have to move, get old Cam Jordan up out of here, man. They got to go. We got to get faster here. We can't be all slow, bro. We done played this slow man game. Cam got to go. Demario going to be going, and it's about time. They got paid handsomely. We respect what you have, but this is football. We need younger, faster players in there. Mad Drummer says, so you think Loomis goes his taxes yet because he needs to out back into this cap? What? So you think Loomis go hits? You got to rewrite that for me, Mad Drummer. Rewrite that one for me, brother. If we miss on Tet, do you think we get Savion or Trey Harris? Savion Jones would be Savion would be absolutely phenomenal from the wide receiver position. This guy is just unbelievable. Trey Harris, I know the Saints like Trey Harris from Ole Miss. Is another good wide receiver. You can't really do too bad with any one of those guys, but Savion, man, is something special. He's something special, man. I like both those guys. Head Trump says, Q, who will be the next player to be cut? I mean, it's going to be Bink Saunders, to be honest with you. Bink Saunders is on his way out. He can dance on out of here like his brother be dancing, because that's at the end of the day. Bink Saunders was a disappointment in terms of his him and Nate Shepard's production in the interior line over the last couple of years. It was a disappointment based on the production of the prior 2 men that were here with David Onyemata and Shai Tuttle. Those guys were about the business, especially David Onyemata, and it's hard to kind of put him up there. But listen, when you follow a guy like that and you bring in both Shepard and Saunders at the same time, we expect that to be completely shut down. The Saints interior defense was poorish. They stepped up for certain periods of time, but they were inconsistent, fam. That's one thing about the Saints defense. They were stopping the run. They were inconsistent. Some games they were there on it, and some games they wasn't. No, we need consistency there. We need to be able to rely on you week in and week out, because you're getting paid handsomely for that. In the end, with Shepard's re-signing, or restructuring rather, and Shepard restructured, which means that guarantees him to be here. Bink Saunders, that's not the case. So look for Bink Saunders to get released. Look for him to get released, and that's how I go. Now, the thing about Taysom Hill, we have to follow and wait for Taysom, because we haven't heard too much from his side of things. But what based on what we're hearing, they have several of the older players that are doing restructures to help the Saints get money to compete in free agency. So I would say Bink Saunders would be the guy. All right, King Blood says, glad we re-signed Young. Yeah, it was a long time coming, bro. And it's like it's 1 + 1 = 2, right? A guy like Chase Young signs with the Saints last year. The question mark of, can he stay healthy? He failed the physical for the Carolina Panthers because he went to Carolina first. And he failed the physical out there because I was like, why did they do that? But they didn't tell you that right away. They held that information. And I guess it was because they did not want to spoil his prospects of getting signed to another team to find out why they let him out the building. But I knew something was funny. But the Saints signed him and they had a contract structured with the injury language in there. And Chase Young had surgery 2 days after the contract. So the Saints signed him. Everybody was happy. I remember we did the shows. And then 2 days later, it came out that he was having surgery on his back. And I was like, what? But in the end, the guy rehabbed fast. And then he got back, stayed healthy the entire year. And the Saints paid that man today $3 million. 3 years, $50+ million. So that's a credit to Chase Young because that's what he was looking for. He wanted a long-term contract. So it worked out, man. Linda says Carr had one of the best interception ratios in NFL. Every QB throws a pass across the middle. Watch the play again. The Panthers players targeted Olave on that play. It's not that, Linda. It's not about that. It's the fact that the quarterback's supposed to know where ball placement is supposed to go. I'll give you some reference points, some reference material to look up. Steve Smith, the great wide receiver from the Carolina Panthers, and Cam Newton, where they did shows, and there are other people that talked about it, but those two had really good conversation about it. If you want to Google them and listen to what they had to say about the placement, RG3 had a really good breakdown on it too. He talked about it. He did a real stellar job of breaking it down. It's another piece of reference material you can look to. And it goes into the philosophy and the psyche of ball placement and understanding and know where you place the ball and where you do not place the ball. You don't throw the ball and place it in that spot. And then the thing what people got pissed off, and Mike Thomas got pissed off about that too, because I ain't gonna say a similar situation, but when Mike Thomas got hurt, it was because of where he placed the ball at. And Mike tried, I think he caught it, and the cornerback hit him and hurt him. And Mike Thomas was upset about that when he got hurt. Then later on, when he seen what happened to Chris Olave, this was a couple of years later, then he kind of woke up about it. People started talking shit about Mike Thomas. And what he was saying was simple. It's like, hey, man, they're trying to play Mike Thomas like he has sour grapes. And I'm like, no. The dude ain't just going after you. And then Derek Carr did this D-list act. I don't know why the guy didn't like me. I love everybody. I love everybody. I love you and you and you. Everybody gets a car. That Oprah Winfrey shit. He do it. I don't know why he doesn't like me. He plays that D-list actor thing. I can tell you the way you placed that ball, and he didn't take any responsibility for where you placed it. It's the same thing he did with Chris Olave. You don't put that ball there. All of them players will tell you that. You don't put that there. But it's just that. And that's what a lot of people, man, just like, man, it's that he produced this D-list acting thing. Well, I don't know why everybody's hating on me. Why is everybody so mad at little old me? All I do is kiss babies and swim 5 miles in the ocean and donate toys at Christmas. I'm a good guy. I don't know why they don't like me. Yeah, shut up. You know what you're doing. We don't fall for that crap, man. We know what time it is. We got memories over here, man. Ramsey, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, check that out, Linda. Check those out if you haven't already. But they give you good insight on the whole thing with Carr. That's why people was like, man, and all he had to say was, I'm sorry, man. Drummer says, Q, do you think we can get Isaiah Simmons? I don't know, bro. I mean, Simmons is not really, boy, that guy was seem like a guy that could really be something, man. But Isaiah Simmons is really hadn't turned into, well, he could have been. He could have been something spectacular. You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you really want Isaiah Simmons? Who that says, are you? He says, you're right, Fable. So come on, man. Hold on here. What's that? Oh, Cap, C-Step. What's happening, brother? Says drafts Sanders, Shador. I don't think he's going to be there, bro. I mean, they're talking that mess. They dropped his numbers because he didn't compete in that NFL combine. And they dropped him all the way down to like in the 20s or something like that because he didn't do that. And that just goes to show you how petty and bullshittish that ranking is for that to happen, because just because he did not participate in that combine shouldn't have dropped his numbers all the way down and like had him ranked like in the 24th or something like that. What? He was there talking to people. And the same people that was berating him and talking about, you think he this, that, and the third, they're going to be at that pro day watching him. Then you're going to see him go right back up to a top 10. You're going to see. He knows his power. His father knows what time it is. These guys are really good at that publicity thing. They know what time it is. Deion Sanders knows. Don't go up there. Don't throw up there, okay? You can go there and interview, just show your face, you know, put these hats on your book bag and walk around and create a little buzz about teams, you know, do that. You see him, the book bag, he was walking around there with the Saints hat and all these different hats hanging off his bag or whatever it was. Dude's masters of the advertisement, the publicity thing. I'm gonna talk to you, but I'm not doing none of this other stuff. So we can have the discussion, all this kind of stuff. But if you want to see me throw and all this, you come to my pro day at Colorado. Everybody and his mama who's a scout gonna show up to that pro day to watch him throw. And he'll be right back up there at the top 5 or 6. Watch. You're gonna see. And then that'll create something. So if is Shador at 9, I say hell no, he's not at 9. Not with all they got quarterback needy teams. And you got a guy like him. The guy's good. He's not a flash in the pan type, but this dude, he did 4 years of that. He did 2 at Jackson State, unbelievable numbers, and 2 at Colorado. He had 4 years of very high production and a ton of tape. He got more than enough visual or video resume that they can look at and break down. They got plenty. He knows that. He knows it. And him and Cam Ward. Now they're going to put Cam and say, okay, Cam's the better of the quarterback. Cam is good too. But like I said, man, at the end of the day, it's a 2 quarterback top class right now. And the rest of the guys are, day 2 guys. Jackson Dart is the other quarterback that could follow himself up into like the bottom of the first round or something like that. It happens every year with quarterbacks that are seen as day 2 quarterbacks, some kind of way find them way themselves into day 1. It happens every year, right? I wouldn't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the Saints don't get Jackson Dart. If he's available in the second round, don't be surprised the Saints don't pick up on him. Or a guy like Quinn Ewers from Texas. And a guy that I like a lot is McCord from Syracuse. A lot of people, that guy led college. He had over 4,700 yards last year. He led college in passing yards and other things. McCord from Syracuse, he came from Ohio State. He transferred over from Ohio State. The dude could play. He is just not as athletic, but he's accurate. He's really smart. We talked about that. Shout out to my dog, KT. We covered that. Okay, this is a Mad Drummer. Did you clean it up? He says, do you think Loomis got his taxes? Because he need to put it back into the cap. I don't know, brother. He probably did, man. But he using her money. He using her money. All right, Foul Focus is Q. Does Mason Taylor fall to, yes. How did I forget Mason Taylor? I talked about all these damn tight ends. I talked about all the Tyler Warren from Penn State. No particular order. Gunnar Helm from Texas, the kid from Miami, with Lovelace from Michigan, Mason Taylor from LSU. How can I leave out Mason? It's a lot of them, man. So does Mason Taylor fall to the second round? If so, do we take him? Mason Taylor is going to be available in the second round. He definitely going to be there in the second round. You know, some people believe he'll be there in the third. But this draft has every tight end that you could possibly want. Like, but if the Saints, you know, feel their offensive lead, they bring in Mekhi Becton and put him on the line and they fix their offensive, you know, that type of stuff. And then you go into the draft and Tyler Warren's at 9 and you already took care of your line issues in free agency. Dude, take Tyler Warren, man. The last fantastic tight end we had was Jimmy Graham. That was all those years ago. This guy is different. That Tyler Warren guy is different. He is different, man. He's different. He's not just a tight end. He has different applications to his game. The guy is special. He's special. He's ready to play right now. He's ready to help right now. He changes your offense. Look, I'm not comparing him to the Raiders tight end or the tight end from the Detroit Lions or Kittle or any of these or Kelsey or any of these other fantastic tight ends. But look what they do for your offense when you have game-breaking guys like that. Who, no matter who the quarterback is, they will love to have that if you satisfy your offensive line needs via free agency. Jesse says, what up, Q? Do you see the Saints drafting Etienne, the running back from whatchamacallit, as a, I don't know, bro. Possibly later on in the draft, because the Saints right now they got rid of Mr. Pokemon. They put Jamal Williams in the street, right? he managed his damn cats and his Pokemons cards. He didn't put them in the street. So with that being said, the Saints have a Alvin Kamara who turns. When does Elvin turn 30? He turns, I think it's in July. I think it's either June or July. I want to say it's somewhere in that time frame where he turns. It's later on in the year. But anyway, he turns 30 this year. So you're going to have Elvin Kamara, 30 years old. You got a Kendre Miller who's brimming with potential, but he can't stay healthy. And then behind him, you got a few other guys. But, you know, they're mostly undrafted, unproven guys. Jordan Mims is there. But if you're Kellen Moore, you're looking at a older and good Alvin and a unproven Kendre Miller, and you're saying, yeah, we can definitely use some help there. But, you know, that's later on in the draft. And this is a draft that's loaded with them type of guys. This draft is loaded with running backs too. I mean, this draft have all of more, any kind of running back that you want, they got it. I mean, they got some really good ones. Giddens is another dude. That's a bunch of really good running backs that'll be available. The kid from North Carolina, who is just phenomenal. The guy from and there's quite a few of them. I think he probably going to be going in the second round or somewhere up in there. But they have a lot of running backs. Whatever your style is, the north-south thumper, the kid from Iowa, that guy's a north-south power back. You know, you're going to have your picks and chooses in day 3 for those type of running backs. The draft is loaded with those guys. So, yeah, whether Etienne's the guy or not, it depends on what you're trying to do offensively speaking. So, that should be something that they definitely look at, being that the game done changed. All right, who that daddy says, I think that Will Campbell's going to slide down to us. If Campbell slides to the Saints, you pick him. I know KT, my dog KT might not agree with me on that. But listen, if Will Campbell slides to you at number 9, you take him. You take him and you put him at, well, Tolly's at, would you move Tolly? Would you move Tolly for Campbell? Oh, man, that was a good problem to have. You know, regardless, those will be your bookends. Well, Will Campbell and Tolly, and you kick Trevor to left guard. That's what you do. And the Saints will have 4 first-round draft pick offensive linemen there and a second-round draft pick center, which is McCoy. So, yeah, if you got Campbell there, dude, you kick Penning inside to that guard position and you begin again. That's what I like. Thank you. Who that data says, Head Trump says, do Mickey Loomis get a pass if they have a winning season? Hold on now. Head drama. Hold on now. Do I get a pass, Q? God damn it. Hold on. You guys are, hold on now. Do I get a pass if we win? No, you ain't going to get a pass. You win one year with a Mickey. No. You don't get a pass after 1 year and you fail for 4. No. We're not that easy. We're not that easy. You know? We know. No, you're not going to get a pass for 1 year. That's what you tell them, head trauma. You know how many years they lost? Or they lost 4 years? You don't get a pass because you win 1. 1 does not eliminate 4 years of funk. You know, no. You got to build on it because we don't need a fluky year. It might be a fluky year. We want to see if this thing is legitimate. We need multiple years of winning after having multiple years of losing, right? That's the equation. That is balance, right? It's balance, baby. You know, I'm not giving, no. You know, that's like that old girl messing up. You know, or that old guy for the gals, he messing up. See, people get that shit when you talk about relationships. Let me ask my ladies out there. Now, all my ladies out there, I want y'all to answer this, baby. Y'all answer this question. All right. Now, y'all answer this question for head trauma and let this brother know. Y'all let him know. If a guy messed up for 4 years, right? If he do good for 1 year, is that enough, baby? Y'all put it in the chat right now. Watch this shit. Watch this. All right, come on, ladies. Y'all educate us on this. Educate us on this shit. Y'all let us know. If the brother messed up for 4 years, is 1 year of good behavior enough to make it all right? Y'all answer that in the chat. Put it down in the chat. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. All right, watch this. All right, shout out to KT, man. Big ups to KT. He said, Pops love the show. He said, I'm pissed we re-signed Chase. 5.5 equals 51 mil. I'm slapping Mickey. Yeah, it's, bro. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's the thing, though. Yeah. Y'all answer that for me. Ladies, fellas, if you got your significant other messed up for 4 years in a row, just all kind of messed upness, and they do good for 1 year, is that enough? Is that enough? Does that change everything? When you start putting shit into relational type stuff, you get your answer really good. All right. Somebody said, hell no. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. There you go. Byron says Arroyo. Yeah, Harold. That's you. Yeah, Harold, Fanny, Gunnar Helm. They got a lot of tight ends, fam. This draft is loaded with good running backs going late into the third day. They have a lot of tight ends that can go to the third day. There is, I'm not going to say the wide receivers are as in depth as those positions are. They got a lot of really good linebackers in this draft, depending on what you're looking at. The DBs are pretty decent, depending on what you're looking for. So, I mean, they got some talent, man. You just got to know, you just have to be a good evaluator of talent. Thank you, KT. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, the Saints signed him back, bro. And I don't think it's a bad thing, because especially like this year, you get him, you got Coach Bo from LSU. You bring back Coach Young, who's the pass rush specialist, and you have Chase, you got Carl, you got Isaiah, you got Brian Bresee, you got Davon Godchaux here, you have who else is it? Christian Boyd and others, the young guys, and you have a really good defensive line coach. They can change the game, man. They can definitely change the game and put it on another level. Princess says, hell to the nah. He's see? All right, yeah. Maul says, "Q, no, bro, that's not enough." Right? Yes, that's the point. The point is, LM says his wife says no. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. If the dude, Joseph says not enough. Q, nah, that ain't enough, brother. Not enough, brother. Nah. See, that's the whole point. If you got somebody messed up for 4 years and then they do good 1 year and you thinking that's gonna be all right, no. Hell, you gonna have to do that 4, and depending on how bad you were, you might have to do extra couple on top of that. You heard that? You heard me? Just keeping it all the way funky with you. Who that daddy says, hello, my wife just said no. Let the women speak. They gonna tell you, like, hell no. You messed up for 4 years and then you want me to 1 year, and you good? Fam, do you understand what happens if she let that happen? You hear what I just said? Come on, ladies, y'all got to talk up here. I'm talking up for y'all. Y'all got to help me out now. Y'all got to back me up in the chat. Where the ladies at? Y'all talk. I'm talking. Y'all got to back me up in this chat. When you hear somebody 4 years messing and talking crazy, acting stupid, talking sporty, chewing gum all over the place, reckless, doing crazy stuff, elitist, arrogant, messed up for 4 years, lying, everything. And then boom, you 1 year and they back. Oh, we got something wrong. Let me tell you that if she said that's fine for 1 year, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hold on now, what's going on here? That's what you need to do. I'm just keeping it all the way funky with you at the end of the day. Because if she said, yeah, 1 year is good enough, you need to be like, hold on now, what's going on here now? Hold on, baby, hold on, baby, where you been at today? That's what game you on there, baby. It's not going to be a pretty sight. You're going to have to do them 4 plus an additional year, maybe even 2. And you better have your pocketbook out because it's going to cost you everything and then some, baby, to get it right, depending on how bad you are. So yeah, I equate that. When I use that, I say, see how that look? So anytime they come at you like, yeah, 1 year erase all the 4. No, it don't. That's easy work there. We ain't easy work. We not easy work. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm telling you. Hey man, let the church say amen. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. If she said, yeah, baby, that's okay. Yeah, 1 year is good enough. You be like, what did you say? You got to raise up the glasses on it like. You start bucking your damn eyes. You better start bucking them eyes, baby. Baby, if she say 1 year is good and you messed up for 4 years and 1 year was good enough, baby, you better start bucking eyes in every damn thing, baby. You better start bucking eyes in every damn thing because it's going down, baby. Let me tell you something. Let the church say amen. I'm just saying all the way. I'm keeping it real. Farouk says, Q, what if Johnson is available at 9? Bro, I know Farouk, bro. Yeah, and we could use that help too. We could use that help. That's what I'm saying about the Saints. A lot of people just buy into the draft the best player available according to your draft board philosophy because the Saints have a lot of needs. But all of this will be worked out, man, when we go through free agency. That's why free agency is first and it comes after the draft. So at some point, we're going to have to, address some of these needs. Now, you see the corner, they try to go for a cornerback today. I think they'll still try to see if they can find somebody else to pair with Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think they'll still try that again. And they're not done. They're not done. They're going to change the defense is going to change to what Staley needs, and the offensive line needs to improve, and they need playmakers. They need a lot of people, to be honest with you, but it depends on what they do in free agency to address some of these needs. That'll kind of sink. But yeah, I'm not mad. We could use that help. They got a lot of really good defensive backs too that'll be available for the Saints at 9. But you got to look at need at the point. And me, like I said, I'm still gonna stick with my offensive lineman until further until further notice. I got to. Like Linda said. Linda says you have to have that line. Those lines have to be together. You know, I like a lot of these players, but I have to stick on code. I have to stay on code. And the code says you build from the inside out, which means you have to make sure your offensive lines and defensive lines are top notch. You have to, because that's how we're going to win, you know? So, all right, KT, thank you, bro, for that. He says Chase Young equals NFL Lonzo Ball. He is what he is. NFL Lonzo Ball, KT.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Appreciate you, bro. How is he Chase? How is he Lonzo Ball, bro? How that work? You know? Jaden says the reason I think Willie Green looked like a bacon wrap sandwich is because I think Willie Green. He said because I think Willie Green. He says he has a stupid face. He looks like a juicy piece of barbecue chicken, and his face looked like a bacon wrap. That's why. Okay, Jaden. Say, brother, are you hungry? Are you hungry over there, Jaden, brother? Did you get something to eat today, brother? Did you know what I'm saying? Because you're making me freaking hungry over here, brother. Barbecue chicken and bacon wraps and all that kind of stuff, brother. Are you hungry? I ain't gonna lie, Willie Green does look. He does have it. The DC and Lex says a very slappable face. I don't know, brother. I don't know, but that is funny though. 504 says, Q, do you think we should have moved on from the Honey Badger? I mean, who you got to replace him? I think Tyrann Mathieu money is not that bad. He still could play. You know, he still can help you. He's not that bad off. Like if they give you money back, what if they restructure? I don't think the Saints going to get beyond him. I never thought Tyrann Mathieu would be a guy the Saints got rid of first. You know what I mean? There are other guys that won't fit the scheme that we have. I like Bink Saunders. Like I said, with Nate Shepard and Bink Saunders, to me, should have been gotten rid of. I would have got rid of both of those guys. Once you trade for this guy, you know, I would have gotten rid of with both of those guys. They hadn't really done anything. They hadn't been what we wanted them to be. But Bink is definitely on his way out, man. After Shepard had that restructure. But I think Honey Badger is okay, man. I think he's okay right now. But you definitely need to be looking at the future of seeing if you could pick up some help behind him. We definitely could use some safeties, bro. I mean, right now we have we got a few guys there really outside of your boy that we had. What's his name, man? Our guy that we had there, man. Because Will Harris is a free agent. You know, Will Harris should be a guy that sings back, but outside of Jordan Howden, I mean, you got a bunch of undrafted guys, and we don't know what you're getting out of that. Millard Bradford and JT Gray is not a safety; he's a special teams guy. If he's playing safety for you, you in trouble. So outside of that, the Saints definitely could use a futuristic safety, you know, there as well. I mean, they can definitely use that. They can definitely use some safety help. Like I said, they can use a lot of stuff, man. It's just where we are right now. All right. Anyway, all right. KT says it's a deep O-line class. Yeah, it is too, bro. You're right on that. Yeah. Nick Emorwari at 9. Oh man, KT, you would throw that up there, bro. That dude in the Saints secondary, man. That pretty much means that, yeah. You put him back there oh my God. You put him back there in the Saints defense. Man, that would change everything for the Saints secondary if you put him back there. what he can do. That guy is unbelievable. If you put him in there, that would be something, KT. I allow you make me think on that. Max says, why is Chase Young getting paid $20 million a year? Now you got to ask Slick Mickey on that one. Well, hold on, Max. Why the hell not? I gave Derek Carr $150 million, and hold on now. You guys don't be a player hater. Chase Young, he deserved the money, and he was he did well. He's one of the few only players that didn't make fun of my name, and I compensated him. Hold on now. Not a damn thing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? But it's at the end, Chase Young gets paid. He got broke off, bro. And Mickey says he likes it. And besides, they said he counts, and Kat she tweeted that Chase Young's was going to count at least $9 million against the salary cap if his contract voided on Wednesday. Saints avoided dead money with the signing, and that's something. Shout out to Kat Terrell because she was on that. She kept talking about the Tanu Passanio and the Chase Young in another deal where she kept alluding to that money falling back to hurt the Saints, but she made a quick tweet about it. She talked about she made a quick little note saying signing a player to a 2-year deal with a $10 million signing bonus, that's $5 million on the cap year, or add 3 voids and that signing bonus counts $2 million a year. But a void essentially equals a release. So if the contract voids, you take on the dead money, which is pretty much what the Saints been doing. But shout out to Jeff Nowak. He also showing that he's saying that the deal's not 20, is actually 17 million annually. He said the perspectives if we have to consider for Chase Young deal is that it's $17 million annually, is as the middle of the road as it gets for defensive ends these days. So just to kind of answer Max's question about why are we paying them, close to $20 million, is basically what's being said is you have to look at the market for players in that range. And, a lot of times market dictates the value of the player. So Kat says, by that, I mean, technically they could be under the cap with their restructures, but the looming $16 million in voided contracts made them potentially not under the cap. But Young's contract was really the biggest hurdle of the 3 potential voids. So she was saying that the potential $16 million voided year hit that could have came back to the Saints this signing period was enough for the Saints to kind of rework a deal for 3 years annually at $17 million a year. So, and like it says, it's a 3-year, $51 million deal with up to $57 million, I guess, when they hit on certain incentives that he hits, like games he plays or sacks or tackles and that kind of thing. But that is some good information right there on it. And Chase Young is back with the team. So there you go. Hope that answered some of your questions. All right. KT says Q. McMillan at 9, Mabuka in the second, Belton and Mason Taylor in the third. That is a solid draft right there, bro. I got to give it to you. If if Ted McMillan falls to you at number 9, dude, that guy is phenomenal. That's a star in the making there at the wide receiver position. The likings that we haven't seen, I want to say, that guy has the potential to be like a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL with his speed, his catchability, his size. The guy's a natural. So if you get him at 9, the potentiality that guy could, that would be special. And then you talk about Mabuka in the second round in the secondary, and then you have Mason Taylor for the tight end position in the third, which is where a lot of people think Taylor will fall in the third round. that solves a lot, man. That's a very exciting draft, to be honest with you, KT. That would get, but 506 KT. Who else would you get at DE? The DE position is off the table. That's off the table. I mean, especially high. The Chase Young signing, the fact that the Saints, remember, fam, the Saints are pivoting to a 34 system or a 3-3-5 or whatever you want to call it. But, which is the modified version of the 34. But what I'm saying is that takes that off the table, because that's one less lineman there. You got Chase, you got Granderson, you got Brian Brissy, they traded for Godchaux today. You still have Nate Shepard's restructured. You got Bink Saunders here. You got still got Cam here. You still got Isaiah Foskey, who's a second-round draft pick 3 years ago. So the scheme forces you to adjust your philosophy in terms of talent. Like, I know Cam's up in age, but at the same time, you're going to get that guy or defensive end later on in the draft. The top 1, 2, 3 guys, round-wise, I'm speaking, is you want to focus on positions of need, right? We need a left guard. We need a left guard. We need a tackle. We can use some linebacker help, right? Because you change it to a 3-4 system unless they bring guys in during free agency or whatever the case may be. There are going to be some linebackers available. You still can use some safety help. You can use some corner help. So you have to kind of prioritize what's important. And to me, I think the Saints will prioritize the lines because you still need help on the backups. Like, the Saints really need to also see about reaching and getting them a good center in this draft too. I don't know if center probably be later on in the draft, maybe in the 4th round, you'll be able to get you a good center prospect that'll be there. But at the same time, you still have to get these players because the Saints backup line is their backups are awful. If they and our starters get hurt, you'd be in the same boat you were last year. So we need to improve there. We have to improve the depth of our offensive line. Plus, McCoy, I keep cautioning y'all about McCoy. He's getting to the age where he has these repetitive injuries, and he can't. You have to be able to find somebody who can step in if he gets hurt again. Because he was so important to the Saints offense last year, is that when he left, it turns out that the backup offensive lineman didn't know half of what he knew. And that cannot be the case. You can't have a person that important to the team that's playing football with a helmet on that is that important that another guy can't step in and do his job. He might not have the talent McCoy has, but he still has to have the mindset, the information to be able to do what he needs to do. You can't have McCoy out there doing that, and then he gets knocked out of there, and then nobody else knows anything else. The Saints didn't have a backup center last year. They had to win. And it just shows you that that Possum was just as stupid as they come, because he started the year, they didn't even have a legitimate backup center. When McCoy went down in the 3rd week of the year, they shuffled the line, which is something that you're really not supposed to do because you're already losing one dude. You don't want to shuffle the line around and make everybody uncomfortable. You lose one guy, you want to put one guy there. You don't want to then take the right guard, put him to center, put another right guard out there. You creating problems. You just created 2 moves that you didn't need to have to make, as opposed to one move, a center for a center. He probably wouldn't be on McCoy level, but at the same time, if our coaches are hitting on anything, he's supposed to be prepared to play. All of them are. That's the point. One guy, you can't have a guy that the quarterback's another thing. But the center position, you can't have a guy, offensive lineman, that gets knocked out of that's that important. The Saints struggled like hell until they got the guy from the practice squad from the Jets. What's his name? McGovern. His guy name was McGovern. They pilfered him off the practice squad from the Jets. They got McGovern off the practice squad from the Jets. And they put after McGovern, and McGovern was he was doing well for them. And then when what's his name? Shane Lemieux, was terrible. Shane Lemieux got hurt. Then when he got healthy again, they cut McGovern and bring Lemieux in, and Lemieux wasn't half as good as McGovern. McGovern was like a 6 or 7 year NFL veteran. No, he was more than that. Actually, McGovern was like, what, 8 or 9 year offensive lineman? And you cut him for Shane Lemieux? Man, them people is just silly. But at the end of the day, that's what kind of stuff you have to look at. Like, they need a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, that's what we got free agency to address at least some of these needs. But yeah, they got a lot of stuff you got to focus on. But I'm inside out. I'm gonna just say that. All right, a couple of more of them before we get on the body. Hey, what's up, Kathleen? Shout out to you. Good to see you. Jaslow says free agency gets center. Young people should say rookies not safe. Well, Bill Parcells said that every rookie counts as a loss. That's what Bill Parcells used to say. Quaveda says they could still get an edge rusher in the draft because Staley's scheme is not old 34. Chase can play stand up. Yeah, I talked about that earlier in the broadcast. And a dirt other than draft an edge rusher. Yeah, and this is true. Thank you for that, bro. All right. Yeah, LM says center McGovern is available. I guarantee the Saints not looking at him. All right. Okay. Jaden says, Q, I just ate see, that's why you're hungry. So I just ate barbecue chicken just now, and I hope Willie Green gets fired in a year. If not, I'm putting Willie Green on my reel. Okay, I got you, bro. Thank you, man. I don't hold to it, brother. I don't think he gets fired, man. I just think they're so incompetent over there. I don't think that happens. Jaslow says, Ruiz, please trade him, get bigger guard in the draft. Yeah, I think Ruiz, I'm not a Ruiz guy, man. Caesar Salad Ruiz had one good year. I've said this over and over again on the tape. I don't see how people missing it. Ruiz is consistently, he gets beat a lot. For a guy that has that many reps, he need an offensive lineman that really pushes him. And like I said, he was a good center when he came from Michigan. But when he moved over, remember, he was a center originally when they drafted him, and they converted him to a guard. He had 1 year that was good, that got him paid. The rest of them years have been mediocre years. It's a mixed bag on the tape for this guy. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I won't say too much, because I always talk about Caesar Salad Ruiz, but I'm just saying I'm not impressed with his game at all, man. I'm not impressed with Ruiz. Not in the slightest. He's played too many games. He should be on a whole nother level. Ruiz, younger than Eric McCoy, but he should be like right on McCoy's heels. It'll be the Saints' second best offensive lineman, trying to take over the position as the best Saints offensive lineman. That's what Ruiz is supposed to be. He's nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. And people just let him make it. I'm like, Ruiz gets beat all the time. He's slow to the party on stuff that's developing. He don't slide off people when he's supposed to. He doesn't shed when he's supposed to. His IQ is bad sometimes. And it's like, man, yeah, it's just the tape is not forgiving for Cesar Ruiz, man. Ruiz supposed to be way better than what he is, fam. I mean, I would dare say he should be better than McCoy. He played, that guy, all he's done since he's been here is play games. I mean that in both ways. He playing a bunch of games and bullshit right now, but at the end of the day, that guy been here for a long time, and he should be the best offensive lineman the Saints have. All those live game reps, but you don't see that. You don't see that on film. You don't see it. All right. So anyway, with that being said, man, Maul says, to be fair, Ruiz isn't playing his natural position. Maul, come on, bro. It's been 5 years. You said that about Andrews Pete. When Andrews Pete got drafted, what was Andrews Pete's excuse? Andrews Pete got drafted. And what did he do? Andrews Pete was a left tackle when they drafted him. When they drafted that dude, he was a left tackle. And he played every position. He went to the Pro Bowl several times. And we've seen it before. What's Ruiz's excuse? I mean, he 25 years of age. He got all those reps. He's been here for a very long, for a while. He's been playing the guard position for more than 3 years now. I mean, he's been there. Like, so what's the excuse for that? I don't get that. It's not like Penning didn't play but one game his rookie year. He played 6 games in the second year, and he started all the games in the third year. That's not the case for Cesar Ruiz. Cesar Ruiz played all those games. The majority of the games he was healthy. He played all those. He started all those games. He should be the best offensive lineman on his team, to be honest with you. But he's not even close. Not even close. Okay, KT says he's sending more videos. Corvada says Chase needs to finish more this year. He always got to QB but couldn't finish. You think, I'm telling you, fam, listen, they looking at the money, but don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, meaning don't pay no attention to that contract that Chase Young. The Saints they brought defensive line coach Bo Davis. They still have they don't call him the pass rush specialist, Brian Young, but he's still here as an assistant defensive line coach. They got good coaches here that I'm really looking, for to see how they get after these guys. Like Coach Bo is going to be a real big boost for the Saints defensive line, like the opposite of whatever Ty Grantham was bringing, but having him here is big. He's going to get the most out of those guys. So I'm really excited about that. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Pablo Cole says Q, is Bosa a real possibility for us, or am I dreaming? I think it's more of a dream, bro. Especially that's over with. When the Saints inked Chase Young like on screen to a 3-year deal for $50+ million, that's a done deal. Ain't no Bosa no more, bro. That's over with. Yeah, that Bosa thing had some smoke until the Chase Young thing became a reality. That's a done data there. Unless they doing something else. Now, hold on, maybe there's that 1% chance that they adjust and adapt, like Corvadius was saying, and I kind of alluded to this earlier in the stream about the ability, because you look at Granderson, you look at Chase Young, these are not Cam Jordan-esque looking defensive linemen, right? These are guys, like I call them, big linebacker looking type defensive ends, where they have athletic abilities there, like they're really athletically gifted, where you could move them in the position where they stand up or do something like that. So is that a possibility for Coach Staley's system? It could be. Now, in that mindset, then would Bosa be a thing? But then again, the money would then kind of hamstrung you. So the money would, because the man, if you talking Bosa, that's not cheap at all, fam. Especially after giving Chase 20-something or $17 million annually a year. So we shall see how they all going, man. But it's very interesting to stay the same, man. But I do like some of the defensive moves. All right, so anyway, fam, that's going to be the end of the show right there. I'm going to get on out of here on that. But listen, man, I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in. Please do me a service, man. Hit the like button, hit the sub button. If you're not a sub up. The share button shares the stream as well with other diehards across the Saints hemisphere, the sports world hemisphere. And, check out our sponsors, man. The links in the description section below. Our merch, all of that stuff is available in the links in the description section as well. Fam, we'll be back to talk about more. I got some videos I got coming up tomorrow for Patreon. I've been working on them. I've been adding video to them, a video of some of the prospects to my video breakdown. That's what's kind of keeping them going. I got 3 of them I'm working on. Y'all just be patient. I promise I'm going to roll them all out and have them all available for our Patreon and YouTube membership family, so y'all can see some of these guys, because it's really cool to hear the breakdown and then the video of the actual player. It syncs the two together so you can see the guy there. And it's really cool. But I'm still working on all that, man. So I got they'll be rolling out one at a time, and y'all know I'll make them available on YouTube for our YouTube membership and our Patreon family. So with that being said, man, I'm going to get on out of there. If y'all want to support the stream, the links is in the description section below. I thank all of my super chatters and Cash App family members for the contributions. And I will return later on in the week talking more about the Saints, man. And of course, these are moving and shaking times. So the Saints have a lot going on, man, right now, fam. And it's just going to keep on twisting and turning as we move forward. Like, I'm trying to look at the updated right now version on Over the Cap. Currently has this going on with the Saints, man. And let me just do a clean sweep right quick. before I go, because we was on the show when the news came out about Chase Young re-signing with the Saints. Just making sure that ain't nothing else left to cover and look like we all good. All right. So anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna slide out on that. I appreciate y'all for being in the stream. I'm gonna holler at y'all later on in the week. Much love. Who that to you? Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them Saints. Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, Bet Online is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. Bet Online continues to be your number one sports betting source for every three-pointer to hat trick. Bet Online has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. Bet Online, the game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That Too.